Hello and welcome back to Salt Lake City for more IFSC Boulder World Cup action. As you can see, the temperatures are soaring and we're up for an exciting day of comp climbing. My name is Matt Groom. I'm joined by Megan Martin, but we'll have a chat in a minute. For the time being, let's have a look at what happened yesterday during the women's finals for Boulder and Speed. Salt Lake City once again hosted the IFSC World Cup, and we're bringing you the highlights from the women's boulder and speed rounds. While the stadium baked in the heat, the athletes were ready to go. Getting the bronze was Brooke Rabbitou, who came back strongly after a tricky start to flash the final boulder and get onto the podium.
Yeah, classic Brooke heel there underneath.
Got to set up for that finish hold. Oh, wow. Woo! And a flash to end the round for Brooke Rabbitou. Definitely, the round did not necessarily go how she wanted to, but you can't end it any better than that.
Oriane Berton was looking relaxed and happy during the finals, and she had a strong performance. She was the only one to flash the physical Boulder 2.
Out to the right now, it's a big launch over into the corner. It is a jug, that final hold, but you have to commit.
So she really has to commit to swinging. Wow!
And a flash from Oriane. We said it was her cup of tea. It clearly was.
After a tough start to the season, Natalia Grossman is back in a big way. It was a dominant performance, and she started things off strongly with a flash of the first tricky slab.
Finds the foot. This is her flash go, remember?
Yeah.
Pops the first time. She's one move away. Well, I'll tell you what, there are levels to this game. Natalia Grossman with a flash on the slab. That sends her skyrocketing into first position. What a performance.
See if she goes for just the undercling for this rockover press move. Oh, gonna go just for the triangle.
Why not?
Switch it up.
Does, drops it down to the lower one, gets stood up again, changes the hands.
Just needs to commit here. Oh, 3 fingers. Oh.
There we go. Natalia Grossman with another top, another flash.
It's cool just to be home and to have the crowd. I think this is the best crowd from like any World Cup I've ever been to.
Representing the United States of America, Natalia Grossman.
With the boulder done, it was time to move on to the speed, and a big crowd stayed to watch as the fastest women on Earth started climbing. The small final was between Rajia Salsibilia and Li Zhuangden.
There's a good start from both of them. Li Zhuangden is ahead at the moment, though. Can she keep it together? Rajia is coming back at her, but Li Zhuangden is going to take this. Wow. She does. The 6.77 and a bronze medal for her.
Finals time, and could Alexandra Miroslav pull off another victory?
Ready.
Clean from both. Daszak ahead at the beginning, but now Alexandra starts to turn the screw a little bit through the top part, racing upwards, and it is another gold medal.
Ever efficient.
I always focus on me and my run. It doesn't matter with who I'm running for, and just do my best and do my job every single time, step by step to the gold medal.
Alexandra Miroslav.
Well, that was the story of last night. And Megan, how are you doing this morning? I think we're both trying to find some energy here because it is a long weekend of competition climbing.
Definitely a long weekend, but an exciting one too, I'm sure. Within moments of this competition starting here today, we're going to be very excited.
Oh yeah, I cannot wait. And we've got 20 athletes out on the stage. And that is the starting list. Tomoa Narasaki qualifying in first position, followed by Hannes van Dyssen, who's having a pretty special 2023 so far.
Very special 2023 for sure. Excited to see him on the slabs later.
So this is Daiki Sano, who, well, we were looking at his stats. This gentleman has kind of come from nowhere and is already crushing.
Yeah, just missing out on semifinals in the first 2 bouldering World Cups of the season. And here we are at number 3, and he's in the semi.
Exactly. He came 23rd and 21st in his last 2 comps, so he's certainly making a headache for the Japanese selectors who have more than one athlete to pick from.
I will say.
Yeah.
Getting a quick start onto men's number 1, and we were actually talking about this earlier because the idea is to face out here according to the route setters and then kind of run across, but we were curious if someone would, try to go slow, and he's definitely taking a slower approach. I think he will have to commit to jumping over here, and I think this way could definitely work easily. Just a little too much power there.
It's kind of a halfway house, isn't it? I mean, he's not the full creep across, and yet it seems pretty good, though.
It actually, I as a method goes, it kind of looks more comfortable.
So Daiki has a long look up, trying to work it out. And it's they describe this as the run and jump football to me because of the shape of the holes.
Yeah, they definitely do look like footballs. American footballs, that is.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, not the English one. Right, so Daiki again with the foot up. Hasn't seen this facing out method. Yeah, I'm always concerned, as we talked about, when a route setter says that the athletes face out, because they tend to do everything but want to face out.
Yeah, I think it's hard to force a face out when you're on sighting. I think a lot of times athletes, sometimes it works. As we saw in the women's final yesterday, a lot of them faced out and jumped face out on one of their boulders, but a lot of times I think intuitively you don't feel like that's what you want to do.
Well, he's matched the zone. He's got his left foot high.
So close. Reading this boulder very well, off to a great start. And honestly, I feel like when you come out and you're on like more of a slab / vertical angle, it's kind of nice when it's more dynamic versus very, very calm, because you're in ISO, you're getting hyped to come out and compete. So when you come out and you have to move slowly on the wall, it's kind of hard to like bring the level of excitement down. So I feel like when you start with more of a dynamic and exciting boulder, even on those lower angles, it's just nice because you can continue that flow from isolation.
So Daiki stood up once more. Starts the slow creep, followed by the pop. I watched the route setter do this in their trainers earlier, so I know the face out method works, but he looks so good with that.
He does look good with this method for sure. It's funny too, because actually this kind of a boulder oftentimes in sneakers is so much easier than in climbing shoes. Nice top there from Daiki. He'll be happy with that. First semifinals, first top of the round. Can't start better.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive. Well, one done. And if you are new to climbing, our semi-final builds in intensity. By the middle of it, we'll have 4 athletes out at the same time on the mats. But right now, we start things in a little bit more relaxed manner, which is suiting for 10 o'clock in the morning here in Salt Lake City. And there is the park that we're in. The big roof for the stadium and the crowd starting to gather here. And Megan, I was really impressed yesterday about the atmosphere here in the stadium. It's a fun place to go comp climbing.
For sure. Salt Lake definitely has a lot of climbers and outdoor enthusiasts in general. There's so much you can do outside here. So I think having a comp here just brings out a lot of fans of not only the sport, but just like the vibe, really. So it's nice to see them all come out. And honestly, like for the finals, it was super hot. We had so many people just blazing in the sun to support the climbers. It was great.
I've had people come up to me telling me how far they've traveled to this event. Someone came from Texas.
I talked to someone from New York. I was like, wow.
Yeah, it's a lot of people are psyched just to see the World Cup come to their country. It doesn't matter if it's a bit of a distance away.
It is special in that way, right?
Super special. And we're a couple of comps into this World Cup season. This is the last international one before we head into Europe and stay there for a couple of months. But it is a super packed schedule this year.
Yeah. I do feel like it's important to note that you will see 22 men climbing in this semifinal because there were some ties. So normally it's the top 20, but when it comes to ties, you obviously have to bring those athletes who are tied. So we do have 2 more men than we did in the women's semifinal yesterday.
Yeah, good point. I think I said 20 at the beginning. You are correct. And we're looking for just 6 men out of that 22.
Ooh.
Crazy, isn't it? Such a savage cut.
Really is.
And I talked to a route setter and I asked him if the difficulty had stepped up from the quali, and he just went, oh yes. So it's a hard set of boulders out there for them today. Right, Edvard Gruvitz comes out. He had a good Asian side of his comp season. Second time in the semi-finals for him.
Yeah, 9th in Hachioji. That's really, really awesome. Especially, he's on the younger side, just 19 years old.
we see on the women's side a lot of very young athletes get into the semis and the finals, but it is something you see less frequently on the men's side. Who knows why, really, but it is always cool to see those younger male athletes getting into the semis and the finals. I feel like Mejdi actually was one of the ones that's like, when he came onto the scene, consistently getting in the final at that young age, it was super impressive.
It was, yeah, and he's found some real maturity as well in the off-season. But he's not here this weekend. He's decided to stay at home, do some lead training. Now, if Edvards makes a final, he'll be the only second Latvian athlete to do that in any discipline, which is pretty cool. So he could set some records.
No pressure.
Yeah, no pressure, exactly. Very, very tall athlete. He climbs a bit like Paul Jemf does.
Oh, yeah. They're very similar builds.
Kind of uses his height to his advantage. We see some odd moves coming out of him, but I quite like that.
Doing kind of a similar approach as Daiki did. Just has his foot on the start versus on the left start instead of the right start, which I think is fine. The zone hold that they're going to is so good that I feel like we could see this done so many different ways, and as long as they get over to that hold and get one foot on, I feel like they should be good, just because it is such a good hold.
Yeah, it's quite a nice start to this competition. So often slabs are super tenuous and a bit nasty, but this is at least
good
more
save.
physical.
Not sure he's seeing that heel hook pop into the zone hold. That makes it a little more secure, but like you said, using his reach there, not as necessary as it was for Daiki to actually do it all in one motion.
Yeah, it is a long way. I hadn't really noticed how long it was when I was looking at that boulder, but it's a big old span at the end. But Edvards dropped down, saved himself, and he'll leave, and there's 2 minutes 43 on the clock. Now, Megan, I want to talk a bit about Salt Lake City, because for a long time I've heard about this place being this hub for USA climbing. So just tell me about the TC facility and why has Salt Lake become this sort of icon for USA climbing?
Yeah, I mean, it's the first time the USA climbing team has had a training center. Before the headquarters of USA Climbing was here, they were in Boulder, but there was never a headquarters, or there was never a training center there. So when it moved here, there was this idea that maybe a training center facility should be available to the athletes. And at the time, a lot of the people on the team already did live here. And then since then, a lot of athletes have moved here and started training here. And especially for the athletes, because some of these athletes grew up on teams that are very organized and very accomplished, but then we do have athletes that, you know, maybe came from smaller towns or smaller cities or didn't have as much of a foundation and team to rely on. So having that opportunity to come here and train with other people that are just as good or better than them, which is always how you become a better climber, was a really great opportunity. And then in addition to all of that, a lot of these athletes are around the age of going to university, and there's a great university here, so it's kind of like the perfect storm.
Yeah, I think that's the correct way of doing it, because it seems like it's the combination of a good facility, good coaches, but just the athletes themselves pushing each other all the time.
It's super important to be around peers that, again, are as good or better than you, or maybe you just have different skill sets, because that is really a great way to be able to learn from each other and just challenge yourself on a day-to-day basis, and then hopefully be able to put that practice into play out here at these competitions. And, you know, the U.S. team has been doing consistently better as a whole. I mean, we've always had athletes that have shined, but it's nice to see like more than one or two athletes make semis and finals now. We're seeing multiples in each round. We had 3 women in the final yesterday. There are 4 men in the semifinal today. So it's been really cool to watch the evolution for sure.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, Natalia Grossman winning last night, pretty special from her.
Yeah.
Do go and watch that broadcast in full if you haven't. I know you watched the highlights just now, but it was a lot going on in that comp. And
so much going on, actually, that we kind of, or at least I definitely misremembered. Like, she has won 5 of the 5 Salt Lake City World Cups. For some reason, I totally forgot and thought it was 4. She's undefeated in Salt Lake City. Like, she is the Salt Lake City World Cup champion of all the Salt Lake City World Cups, which is pretty incredible.
Yeah, it's time she gave someone else a go, frankly. You know. Just let someone else have a chance, anyway. Yeah, a lot of people are messaging me about they're looking forward to the fight between Natalia and Yanya, which is looking quite good come Prague.
Yeah, for sure. Because we haven't really seen that in a while.
No, exactly. Myringin, I think, was the last time they did a boulder comp together before Yanya backed off. Right, coming out now is Daiki again. And then from Austria, Jan-Luca Posch.
So we'll be getting our first look at men's number 2, which is a pretty involved boulder on that steeper angle. And one thing to note is the zone hold is terrible.
Yeah, and there's a move in to get out of that zone that I really didn't see. It sort of drop down to an undercling. So it'll be interesting
to see who chooses to do it and who doesn't.
Yeah.
It's also interesting because the start isn't necessarily too crazy, but then it just like turns up. Jan-Luca trying to find the right body position to attack. And it's cool, right? You see when these men get on this boulder, they immediately like have an idea of what they want to do. Wow, choosing to hop through that was interesting.
I always, with coordination moves like that, I try to plan out where I put my feet, but it's quite hard to see the movements. And
sometimes
sort of think
you just
ahead.
have to feel it a few times. You're kind of getting a good look here at that zone hold that is very, very slopey and on more of an overhanging angle. Daiki kind of struggling to find the feet to stay on there as Jan-Luca is back on the wall.
Yeah, and with that bad zone hold, it's going to get worse as the semi-final progresses, as it gets hotter, as there's more sweat on the wall.
And I think that they've taken that into consideration. I was talking to one of the route setters earlier, and they definitely are aware that it can change things with the heat there. Nice catch there by Jan-Luca. Getting through to the zone pretty quick.
Yeah, most of the men finding the start of this slab pretty easy, pretty straightforward.
Going for that stand-up move that we saw Daiki do. Very efficient climbing.
Yeah, it's another top. I think things are going to ramp up after Boulder 1. It's a bit of a sighter, perhaps.
Yeah, I feel like I would be surprised if not all 22 men top number 1, but then after that, we'll have to see.
Yeah, anyone's game.
They definitely get a lot harder.
Yeah, well, we'll get a look at those boulders later on. 22 athletes, remember, are going to come through this semi-final, so lots of climbing ahead. Where is he going here? So he's got...
Trying to bypass the zone, which this is an interesting tactic and smart, honestly, because once you have the zone, you don't need to get it again. You've already gotten it. So if this method looks like it could be easier for him to get to the top of the boulder, this is brilliant climbing.
Yeah, I mean, it's...
It looks hard, though.
I'm trying to catch the eye of a route setter, because somewhere they've got their head in their hands, I'd imagine, going, what?
Oh, actually, I can see Jamie right now.
He's shaking his head,
shaking his head like, I don't know if that's actually going to work. I mean, the thing with a beta break, right? It's not so frustrating if it's possible, as long as the difficulty is still there, right? And honestly, that didn't look... I mean, for a second, it looked like it might be a lot easier, but it's clearly not easy. So if he does it that way, good for him.
I think that pinch might just be a bit too wide, a bit too non-textured to be able
Depends
to do
on
it.
how big your hands are, too.
Well, that is true, yeah. It'll be interesting. I kind of want him to do it just to see, but we'll find out in a minute if he's going to commit to that method or go for the more traditional.
I also think
right.
even if he can get out of that, he still might have to use the zone again in some manner. But again, he already is awarded the points of the zone from his first attempt anyway. So points-wise, it doesn't actually matter if he uses it again.
And we talked about how he's perhaps less experienced in terms of World Cups. I mean, he's only done 2. And it's actually quite nice to see that sometimes. Someone coming in with less expectations, less knowledge perhaps, and just doing something a bit wild. But I think he is going to go towards the right. And it might have taken quite a lot out of him, that go. It's physical on those pinches.
Definitely physical, and again, that angle makes it so everything in your body is engaged at all times from the minute you step onto the wall. So it's not like in the slab where you can have a moment, if you're on a stable foothold or in a corner or something, you can kind of like relax part of your body. You're just engaged the whole time, so your energy really gets zapped on this angle a lot faster.
Oh, he goes towards the right, quick through with heel hooks locked in, squeezes with both feet underneath. And if this is the move the route setters were talking about, where you drop down to where his right foot is.
Yeah, just trying to find that body position to feel stable enough to move out of it in any way. He's gonna take those last 20-something seconds to go back. Honestly, smart move, especially because they've climbed on this wall already, so they know that they're probably going to get another angle that's a little more overhanging, so saving that energy is always smart.
Yeah, remember the semi-finals is on site. They have no preview of these boulders. They don't get time to read them, but they do get a bit longer than the finals. They get 5 minutes per boulder. So it's a different set of rules from the qualifying and finals. And this is a transition period now. You can see the clock ticking down. Now, that's not particularly important at this stage when there's only one athlete out, but later on when there's 4, you do just need a bit of time for everyone to clear the mat safely before the next athlete starts.
Yeah, it can get a little dicey sometimes.
It really can, yeah. Well, Sean Bailey is on for the USA, and he gets a big old cheer as he enters the mats.
See, he brought another pair of shoes with him. You'll see a lot of the athletes bringing, you know, a stiffer shoe and a softer shoe, just depending on what boulder they're thrown. And again, they don't know anything about the boulders ahead of time, so it's always smart to be prepared. Because actually, I don't know if there's a rule that you can't run back and get shoes, but that would cut into your time, so it just wouldn't be efficient at all.
Yeah, absolutely. Want to be prepared. Sean has had sort of on-off season so far. 39th in Hachiochi, 17th in Seoul, so he's looking to upgrade a little bit here.
Yeah, having been on the podium many times, definitely looking to get back into a final. And looked really good in the qualification round, which was 2 days ago actually for the men. Just kind of crazy. Really nice into that zone hold on his first attempt, so that's the first time we've seen that so far.
But a big span for Sean coming up. He's going to have to get that heel in to make this work.
Most definitely. Ooh, a little hesitant there. There we go.
Locks the heel, makes the match. Quick work flash for Sean Bailey.
Great start for him. Lots of cheers in the crowd. He's on and off local in Salt Lake City. He kind of travels around, lives in Japan sometimes, you know.
It's not a bad life.
It's all over the place, yeah.
Well, Edvards is on men's 2. He's had a few goes, 2 attempts so far. And really tricky through that zone. Yeah, the match looks like the obvious way to go on that zone, but the route setters were
finding that position.
Yeah, it's hard with the match.
Which we noticed in the semifinal round for the women, a lot of it came down to finding the right body positions, which I kept saying is, I think, very entertaining and a great way to test the athletes, because it's just like about the subtleties. And I feel like on this boulder, we're kind of seeing that as well.
Edvards swings out towards the erect. Quite a corner there. It's hard to see it on your screen, but it does curve around to the right. Gets the heel. He's going to bump up to a sloper.
Very powerful moves in the opening. I think Daiki made them look a lot easier. He is a very powerful climber, so you're kind of seeing just the difference in, you know, where your strengths lie on this boulder, because you can kind of tell these moves are a bit more difficult than maybe he made them look.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Edvards is sitting down, having a think about this one. Yeah, it's a real change in pace from Boulder 1 that does seem so far pretty straightforward into this really savage, slopey boulder. It's very, very different.
And kind of one of those boulders, too, that, you know, luck kind of comes into play as well. Like, are you lucky enough to find that body position right away? Are you, you know, sometimes when you do make a move, you're like actually falling and somehow stay on the wall. So it's kind of exciting in that way, because this is definitely one of those kind of low percentage boulders.
So Edvards up to the first pinch. Cuts loose as he goes towards the right. Bumps the hand and looks for the sloper.
There we go.
Much better accuracy from him now. This is the crux move. He's got the zone. He's got to use it.
Yeah, I was going to say, I wonder if being taller here might be helpful to find a better foot position that's stable enough to help him match and then come down if he chooses to come down.
Yeah, certainly struggled on the match that time. Had it for a second, but never really looked solid on it. And it is one of those holds that in real life is much, much worse than it looks on TV.
Definitely.
I think when you get a hold as giant as that, there's that sort of, you sometimes think, oh, it's going to be good somewhere on it, but no.
Definitely not. I think the women had, I'm not sure if they had that exact hold in the final or not, or semifinal. I can't remember, but one of the versions of that hold.
Yeah, it was certainly simple. I think they had it on a slab, though,
they
so
did,
a different angle.
Which would make it a lot better. Oops, little dry fire there.
Yeah, 37 seconds to go. He's got one last attempt to get into this. He's got the zone already. And that is really what you need to do on this boulder. I'm not sure we're going to see that many tops on this thing.
That would be surprising. I don't generally throw out predictions, but I wouldn't guess more than maybe 6 people top this boulder.
Oh, that is a prediction. That is a straight prediction.
I'm
just going to write that down to remind you
I'm going to have
later.
to make a tally.
Yeah, 6, Megan. Right,
6 out of 22. I don't know.
No, that's good. I think I'm going to go for 7.
Oh.
Just to be annoying. Actually, I think that's too many. I'm going to go for 4 tops. I think we're going to see very few on this. But there's some big names coming up later on. Marcus Nimrod as well from Israel.
Yeah.
Super impressive from him, right up in the top 5. Jongwon Chon, who's on a run of form at the moment. Alex Kazanov is back.
Yep.
High up a semi-final. So yeah, and Ross Fulkerson, who's missed a few comps. He'll be climbing later on for USA.
And he was in finals, his first final last year in Salt Lake City. So again, another athlete where Salt Lake City has clearly been good to them. And after a rough start to the season for him, not placing very well in Seoul.
So
he was like in the 80s.
Nikolai is coming from Bulgaria. Nikolai Rusev. He starts his comp. Jan Luca Posch on boulder 2, and then we get to see boulder 3 for the first time. There he is, Daiki, having a look at this. Now, boulder 3 is not particularly difficult to read, but it is very powerful.
And there's a lot of moves, too. And again, another boulder that, as the heat comes in, it might be kind of difficult. Daiki really just showing how powerful he is. Definitely the power and tension are high up in his skill set.
He's so stretched out on that bump as well.
Which is nice that that bump move is like a true move, right? And that's the thing. There are quite a few holds on the wall, but also there's even more just like movements on each hold.
Right, Nikolai is eyeing up this jump.
Nice.
Pretty solid. No one using the intended method of facing out, and I think actually it's way better to do it like that. I mean, it just looks more solid perhaps, but we'll see.
I think with facing out too, it's makes it a little harder to spot things, because then there's another involvement of turning back the other way. So I think that's why a lot of the athletes are facing in. Really nicely done. Another flash there for number 1.
Yeah, and this puts a lot of pressure on the athletes. So as you said yesterday, it's easier boulders means you've really got to nail it first go, and it's important to do that.
Yep, so every time an athlete comes back into that secondary isolation zone, everyone knows, oh, okay, people are doing this one quickly.
Yeah. Yeah, the athletes know more than we think they do back there. I actually didn't realize during finals that they get shown the results between boulders, which is apparently a new thing. But yeah, I was always under the impression that no one really knew anything, but not the case.
Yeah, I think there's always been like a back and forth of whether that should be the way or not be the way. I kind of like it, because it could like fire you up a little more to be like, all right.
Well, you can make the decision not to look as well, but I think this sort of like this impression that we have that no one knows what's going on backstage is a bit false, because you can hear the crowd. The athletes do talk, so like, who are we kidding here?
But again, some athletes are very much into, having music on or not paying attention because that's better for them. It depends on the athlete again.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Daiki has had a long rest on this as we come up to 2 minutes.
Which I think is a really smart move, because once you get into the zone on men's number 3, I think it gets, it's already kind of difficult, but then you're also on these slopers that every move could kind of put you off balance and put you off the wall. So you really want to have a plan and also conserve energy on your way to that section.
Yeah, this is double toe hooks.
Smart to get that right foot up higher by using the double toe hooks. Oh, wow.
All right, this is better from Daiki, but he
wow,
hasn't got that thumb yet.
Fully spanned.
Now he gets the thumb, but he's got to go up to an even slopier hold next to the zone.
And also get high up on it without being too high and pushing himself out on the zone hold, because that zone hold, if you get too high on it without being pulled into the wall in some manner, it's just going to throw you off. And that's kind of why he dropped, because he didn't have that position right.
So one move higher, and he's lying now on the mats as we watch Jan Luca Posch. He's got the zone. Seems like zone is okay on this boulder, but it's moving through that thing, which is proving to be very difficult so far.
And also because this boulder will probably not be topped that much, getting to the zone on your first attempt, I think, is going to really come into play here.
So Jan Luca rests with a minute to go. He'll probably have one more attempt on this before calling it. And Daiki, meanwhile, as well, he's resting, waiting. He's got the zone, has Daiki, as has Jan Luca. We will update you with the scores. It's it's not that important at the beginning of a semi-final because things just change so much. But by the end of it, we'll have the scoreboard up for you so you can see who's doing what. Remember, just 6 athletes we're looking for to get through to the final.
Yeah, Luca trying to, just a little slip there. Man, Daiki really taking a while to get back on the boulder.
Yeah, he's got 30 seconds. So
he does move quickly, though, so I think it's one of those moments where it's like, know who you are as a climber and just do what you know you can. Oh, interesting. Trying to go right hand. Wow.
Riley
really nice climbing, though.
Yeah, one move further, but no top awarded. Yeah, the maximum points on the boulder is when you reach the last hold, you match it in control. The zone is the first scoring opportunity. And it can be a bit harsh sometimes when you get so close to the top and you don't get any more points from a zone, but it's part of the game. The rules do change with the new Olympic format where we get 2 zones, which means slightly longer boulders usually. Right, running on is Hamish MacArthur from Great Britain. Sean Bailey is back and Edvard Gruvitz is on men's 3. Hamish, perhaps more known as a lead specialist. Obviously, he's had to diversify a bit, and he is a strong boulderer, but hasn't quite found the top level form yet. He's regularly making semi-finals.
Yeah, which is always a good first step. And especially with that new combined format, having to get really good at both bouldering and lead. So semis and bouldering for men, always really cutthroat to get into that semis, so I don't know if it's talked about enough.
No, exactly. It's just brutal, especially on an easier round like it was. You really had to be in your game. Right, Sean's into the bad slope with the left hand.
Yeah, I'm interested to see what he does with his feet here to set up.
Ooh.
Nice. This could be just really having to find the body position where he feels stable enough to match that terrible dish. That wasn't it, but you know, I'm curious. It seems improbable, but the right hand before the zone, I wonder if you could get a heel there and if it would suck you in enough or if it would push you out.
Yeah, it's whether you can release the heel whilst holding onto that sloper. With the swing, it's going to be big,
but
big
the next
move.
pinch is pretty good.
True, yeah. We'll have to see if they work it out. But Hamish is on his flash attempt on the final move of this.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if we see mostly flashes on this from now on. Now, I do like that this last move is not as much of a giveaway as it might look like from the ground. Though a lot of the men are still able to do it, they second guess themselves a lot, and we're seeing Hamish kind of do that right now.
Yes,
and
he
dropping it.
It's that classic thing when you're on a jug, you don't want to move away from the jug.
Yeah,
you know, it
it's
feels so good.
comfortable.
Yeah.
You're like, but I'm stable.
Yes, because they could stay there forever, probably, you know, these guys.
For sure. Edwards getting into that zone, looking quite comfortable here. Again, a bit of a taller climber, so possibly getting to the zone might have been a little easier as he could keep his feet on kind of the whole time and not be overly stretched to get to the zone, but then it did look like he got a little stuck in terms of figuring out how to get to that next hold.
If you have the double toes in on those 2 side pulls, it's a long, long way. So you want to bring maybe a foot up, but then you're in the stretched out position. It's difficult to move the feet. It's a full-on boulder, that.
We saw this a lot with the women's boulder yesterday, that volume for number 2. It's slippery, very, very slippery.
Right, Hamish goes again, his second attempt. He made the first move pretty simply before. It was that big move up from the zone where he was questioning himself.
Well, now he knows what he needs to do, so hopefully he can just be more efficient this time and really commit to it. Because I almost feel like it was more of a lack of commitment to that movement that made it so he fell.
Oh,
wow. Hey, I mean,
why not?
Whatever works.
Yeah, and he has managed to get stood up, but he's still bunched, trying to hold that jug. Right foot slipping around.
Keeping it spicy.
This has got to be frustrating for Hamish. It's right there.
And we did see Edwards just go with his hand to the top and then set the heel. I'm surprised that Hamish hasn't tried that. Oh, man. Because when he does the stand-up like that, it does almost look like he's a little too tall to do it that way, right?
Yeah, and he is tall. So, as Molly, his teammate, described him, he's got length.
He's got length.
Which I quite like.
Facts.
That. Facts, exactly. Right, Sean again launching upwards to the right. Bumps that hand into the sloper.
He fell a few times when we were focusing on Hamish, and he kept looking at his hands a lot, so you know they're already getting very sweaty and that boulder specifically you need them to be dry for.
Yeah, the men have had one more day to recover than the women did, so skin should be a bit better, but as you said, it's so hot here that humidity starts to play a factor.
Edwards struggling to get back into that zone. He really made it up there quite easily earlier.
Hamish goes for the big bump, misses
man.
again.
Man, this is surprising.
Yeah, well, Hamish can sometimes get into his own head a bit, and he might have done that here. Because he's making this move look easy. He knows everyone else has flashed it. He's got the height for it.
Yeah, I am surprised, though, he hasn't really tried just trying to static to... Quick look at the clock.
Yeah, there's one on his right, actually. I don't think he's seen it. Right, big bump up. Last
There
chance
we
for
go.
Hamish.
Oh, no! Heartbreaking.
Oh,
Oof, that's going to be rough not having topped that boulder.
yeah, that could be problems for Hamish MacArthur early on. And this is what we're saying about that pressure thing with an easier boulder.
Yeah.
Because it's not, I mean, none of these boulders are give me.
No, they're not easy. It's just comparably to the rest of the round.
Exactly. So as our drone skims the trees to show us the city, the next athletes are running onto the stage. Mountains behind, as you can see, lots of green patches all over this city, which is nice.
Definitely a boulder Yoshiyuki is going to like.
Yeah, last year's defending overall winner, Yoshiyuki Ogata. And I mentioned this yesterday, but he hasn't made the team for the World Championships, which is just crazy
Yes,
to me.
I have heard that. But it is crazy. But again, the Japanese team is so deep in terms of talent. I wouldn't want to be anywhere near that selection process.
No, horrendous. And I think they're testing it out. We're seeing new athletes at almost every event, and you just realise the depth to their squad.
Yeah. Oh, face out. Off screen, Yoshiyuki is face out, but Nikolai Rusev is taking his first few goes at number 2.
And Jan Luca Posch on number 3. He's got the sloper. He's comfortable enough to wipe away a bit of sweat. Go for the pinch on that sloper.
Yeah, I feel like you want to go for the wrap, but I also wonder if they can get a heel. It is high, though.
Yeah, on the left, I feel, yeah.
Daiki giving us our first look at men's number 4. Very bouncy, technical. I would say more of a true slab than the first boulder. This part is tricky because you want to kind of go down and over to go back up, but I am curious to see if anyone decides just to go straight up.
Yoshiyuki Ogata missed if he changed his beater there. But
Yeah, I don't know either. I didn't get to see that either. He did try the face-out method on his first attempt, and it did not look like the way. The face-in definitely looked a little more secure. And I think mainly it's because you have to turn back around, and it kind of slows your momentum down.
Yeah, he's far away on his first go. Well, that's our current scoreboard. And Daiki is in the lead because he's the only one on Boulder 4 at the moment. Remember, top 6 we're looking for, but this is why we don't tend to show you the scoreboard that much, just because this thing will change a huge amount towards the end. Some big names coming up.
See, he really wanted to get the right foot over, but it just seems a little tricky.
Yeah, as he presses towards the left. There's the zone hold.
Nice how that's... I think you end up wanting to cross through behind, or I think in front would be hard, but I think behind is what they probably want. But I can see why he'd want to throw the right over first, because it would set him up better for later on in the boulder, but it's kind of nice in terms for the route setters that it wasn't really that easy or possible to do. But now he's in a good spot.
I think he's in screw holds as well, just crimping those, crazy. And he gets stood up, and I can say thumb scrag again, because there are double thumb scrags to top this boulder out. At the top, and it's a bolt hole cover, right?
Yeah, it's a bolt hole cover. And we usually refer to this as more of a thunder cling.
Which I actually prefer to a thumb scrag. But
Wow, very nice.
whatever you call it, he's done it. That is the top, and you can see a bolt cover being used, which is
Great first semifinal for Daiki. I'm so interested to see how the rest of this plays out for the men. Does seem like the slabs are a bit more attainable than the overhanging climbs, and I know someone who will really like the slabs being I would assume that Hannes would just flash both of them.
Yes, he is the slab king at the moment, that man. Hannes van Dyssen will be up towards the end. He qualified in second place for this.
Although, if he's so good at slab, he might actually prefer a less doable slab because then he's the only one who does them.
True, yeah. We'll see. He'll be climbing later. And Jan-Luca Posch making, there's the heel, yeah.
But it does seem like it would be hard to generate from the heel.
Yeah, tricky boulder.
That zone hold, that hold in general, that's just a hard hold to grab and hold on to and not slip off of. I feel like in so many iterations, whether it's in the climbing gym, in a competition, it's always one that you lose your balance and then you're just off the wall. So it's going to be really hard, and I don't think a lot of people will top that boulder. I think less people are going to top number 3 than number 2.
First time we've seen a knee bar being used in there. It's quite smart.
Oh, left hand.
And matches that slope. Wow.
Interesting.
I know what you mean about the heel now. Now you look at it from that angle.
Yeah.
It looks like it might.
It could, right? But it would. I mean, it's a very high hand heel though, so that is like off of a bad left hand, so it might be too much.
Yeah, and you might end up heel hooking your own fingers.
I hate when that happens.
Yeah, horrible.
Painful.
Right. Well, he leaves not having done that boulder.
I'm starting to get worried about my 6th prediction.
You should
I feel
be.
like
I went way more
it
conservative.
might really be like 3.
Well, that means I would win on my 4
You would
guess.
win. That means I owe you like gummy bears or something.
Really? Yeah, we never actually made the agreement on the bet. So
Gummy bears seem.
$1 million? Let's agree with that. Yeah. Right. Hamish goes on. And,
First look at Xander Waller on men's number 1. I don't think he's actually been. Well, he definitely hasn't been in a semi in a long time, and I actually don't think he's ever been in a semi in a senior World Cup.
I met Xander for the first time in Red Rocks recently, where he flashed a V12 and immediately downgraded it to a V9, which I thought was hilarious.
V9. Ay, Dios mío, I don't know about that.
No. Right, but
That's funny. He's super strong.
He is. He stood up on the slab. He needs to bring that foot down if he's going to creep across or he's going to go for the jump. Let's see. Ooh, pressing.
That is interesting. Again, I feel like it doesn't really matter what you do here as long as you get enough momentum to get over. I do think bringing the hand back down. Okay, that's what he's doing. That makes sense. Readjustment. I was going to say the hand back down isn't going to set him up nicely, but he should be set up nicely now to get over there.
Ooh, there is Xander, so he's stood up.
There we go. Ooh. Didn't really bring the feet with him, though.
No, so didn't quite commit to that jump. Had a bit of a Tetris fall down.
Tetris fall. I like it.
Xander goes straight away, trying to figure out this first sequence. It's the right foot out, bumps it over, gets stood up using the wall, but that blue section of the wall has pretty much
Super
zero friction.
Slippery, yeah. So I think 29th is his best World Cup finish, so I think this is a good start to the season for him.
How's his lead climbing?
He's always been a very good lead climber. Kind of one of those athletes that's always naturally been good at both disciplines. So lucky that that's the new format. And I mean, he narrowly missed out on the Olympics the first time. Pan Am's was such a fight for the American men. So both him and Zach Gallo were very close.
All right, here he goes again. Gets pushed into the corner, trying to get some friction off that non-friction surface.
I'm kind of surprised he's not really seeing more of a dynamic method here, and he seems to be trying to force more of a static method. See if he tries something different. Oh, this is nice, though. Now he's set up really nicely to just get there as long as he brings the feet over. There we go.
That's a good work from him. 2 minutes 27, he figures out that move.
I am curious if he'll kind of go for more of that reach method here. He is quite lanky, so it could work. Look. Ooh, good save.
Yeah, he did what we've seen a few people do, which is drop back down to the jug and reassess.
When Edwards did it that way, it was so easy for him. There must be some, because I almost think that for some of the men, their knee is kind of pushing them out when they try to do that, and he must either have some sort of mobility that's different, or possibly his legs are shorter and they're so close, so close.
Yeah, that right arm just not long enough. I don't think he could. Oh, he's tried it again.
He might be able to scoot up enough.
No, he's about a foot off with that right hand.
Fun drama, though.
That's good, isn't it? It keeps looking at the clock as well.
There's plenty of time. I don't know if you guys could hear that scream from Hamish off camera.
Yeah, Hamish frustrated out on the mats. We thought he might be after not sending that first boulder. And Edvard's on the slab.
I do think that first boulder is interesting for the taller athletes. It might actually be a little trickier to actually finish versus for the smaller athletes. Sean Bailey on men's number 3. Seen a lot of the men get to the zone, but nobody really do anything after that, and Sean has already achieved the zone as Hamish takes a little time to rest.
Yeah, he really screamed, and you can see how annoyed he is out there. Grab that chalk bag.
That's fair.
So Zander was quickly back into this zone position.
See if he can figure out what he wants to do here. Is he going to go back to trying to just reach?
He is as well.
Oh,
might
there
have
we
that.
go.
Yeah, well, he's going to have a long look at the judges to make sure, but they've given it.
Very smart.
Yeah, I didn't think he'd find that reach, but he managed it.
He did just a little different hip placement, able to get into a better position. Ugh, annoying foot slip there for Hamish.
Yeah, Hamish is going to leave as well, having got the zone.
Oh, man. Let's see, Sean Bailey looking like he might make some moves. Ugh, definitely the closest someone's looked. That toe hook was interesting.
Yeah, I don't know what he had his toe on there. It looked like he was standing on something.
He like was just kind of hugging the left hand. He's really good at using his feet like that, kind of like little talons.
Ooh, I like that. Yeah. Right, Edvards and Sean slowly leave the stage. The wave of brushes come on. And yeah, we have Geva Levin coming on his first semi-final from Israel.
Yeah, so 3 Israeli athletes in the semifinal. It's so cool to see how that team has evolved so much. I remember the days where it was really like just Alex out here doing his thing. So cool to see. I feel like in the past 5 years, you see a lot of the Israeli athletes coming to all the comps and doing really well.
Yeah, well, I went out there for a comp at the end of the IFSC season, and their gym system is getting really impressive. Like more and more modern gyms, and it's a big sport there, and it's growing every day.
That's awesome.
In fact, this is the first time that Israel has ever had 3 people in a semi-finals in any discipline.
That's awesome.
Right, Yoshiyuki.
I had a feeling it was probably likely.
Yeah.
Yoshiyuki quickly getting into the zone here. Let's see if he can unlock the beta. He is quite good at doing that.
Yeah, he's got the heel underneath.
Ooh, this little like bicycle. Oh, there we go.
Well, that is the intended beta, dropping down to that underclink.
Just really requiring you to be really good at footwork. Not just toe hooks, but like also heel hooks and just finding the body positions. Wow. Oof. Now feet first there. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know if that
kind of rolled out
is
of that
the best
position as well.
decision, but I'm just psyched that he made a lot of progress there and looks like he could figure something out. The top would be really nice to see.
Yeah, so much instinctual climbing going on there, because dropping down into that undercling is not something you'd necessarily see before, but you feel it in the moment.
Yeah, which is cool when the boulder kind of pushes you in a direction, right? And again, like you're saying, what you see from the ground is not always what makes the most sense on the wall. Gianluca working his way through men's number 4, looking pretty stable, shaky but stable.
He had just a finger on the top of that zone hold on the jib.
Ooh, those legs, a little bit of Elvis leg bouncing around.
Yeah. Right, Nikolai on men's 3. No one really unlocking anything past the zone so far. That could be a Yoshiyuki Ogata boulder as well.
I agree. This round looks like a lot of boulders he would like in general.
Yeah. Be good to see him back in the final.
Most definitely.
So
hasn't made one this season.
yeah, Geva is on slab number 1. Haven't seen much of him, but there you go, our split screen. Men's 1 on the top left, men's 4 on the top right, and then a wide shot so you can just check out all the action.
Men's number 2, it's so funny just how slippery that opening section is, similar to what the women had yesterday. It's like you can do the move, but if you're off at all or not applying enough pressure, it's easy to just kind of slip.
Yeah, well, you can see now Yoshiyuki peeling off the bottom. I think that took a lot out of him, that last go. And then Geva is in the corner, trying to work out how to bring that left foot down. There he does. Right foot out, and then he'll spring across over towards the zone. There he is. Let's focus on him.
In a nice position. Almost looks like he's still just trying to static his way through. Oh, now he moved up. There we go. We can see it again in the corner.
Yeah, top left.
So into the zone there.
Ooh, slightly different way
Yeah.
through for Nikolai.
Looked a little spread out though. Might be hard to get out of.
So Gever is trying to work out this tricky move in the top left of his screen. He gets stood up. It's a big span for him. He crimps the edge like Hamish did.
Nice.
Good work from him. Does what needs to be done on that slab. I mean, you look at...
Asking for a little more cheer from the crowd. I like that.
Yeah, the crowd is sort of building up to some psych here. They've been filtering in all morning.
It is the weekend. People like to sleep in on this day.
It's Sunday, isn't it?
Yeah.
Having a lovely, relaxed Sunday. I'm enjoying it. Someone would just bring some coffees. That'd be great. Apart from that.
Nikolai Rusev taking a few more moments of rest.
Yeah, and Yoshiyuki's powering through. There he is. Drops back down. Oh, loses a foot.
Wow. Also, he even did that drop down different than he did the first time.
Yeah, he had, ooh.
Looking at the hands, probably a bit sweaty. Looks like he's going to take that as all of the tries he's going to give there, which is another smart move. Got the zone on his first attempt.
Yeah, we're sort of waiting for someone to break through a couple of these boulders.
That was, I mean, I feel like Yoshiyuki did a bit. Unfortunately, it didn't end with the top, but there's hope.
There is hope. And the 22 athletes to come through, so lots of climbing to be done. That slab as well, actually quite difficult, especially the top move from the zone to the top.
Yeah, and that stand-up move from the zone to the top, I do think, again, if you're a taller climber, harder to do that stand-up, I think. For the shorter climbers, rocking over your leg because it's not as long is a little easier. The same way mantles. Mantles definitely favor shorter limbs when your limbs are long. And I love that part of climbing, right? It's like, it's always going to be difficult for someone in some way, right? Sure, maybe some boulder might have it might be an easier time for someone with longer limbs, but then others are better for people with shorter limbs. So it all evens out in the end.
Absolutely. It's how you use that height or not.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, Zander's back on this thuggy boulder. What can he work out?
See if he can figure out that he needs to drop down. For a second, it looked like he did, but...
To hold that kick out left with that left hand is
there
impressive.
We go. Oh, just misses it. And that's how Yoshiyuki dropped down the first time, but then the second time he was in double heel hooks on the right pinch.
Well, they stick with Zander, but there is Sean Bailey now.
That little cross through.
Oh, what's he standing on? He's on dual tech. I mean, no text there.
Yeah.
He's
There's
trying
like
to
a little screw on.
Oh, it's
Very
totally
nice.
blind
He has
as well.
really good footwork. I think this is his first attempt too.
Yeah, it is.
So a flash here would be great. I mean, 2 flashes and one flash to a zone and a second try to a zone. That's a good round considering we haven't seen much action in terms of tops in the middle boulders. So if he can get a top here.
So he finds the screw on top of the zone.
He should be pretty comfortable in this kind of pistol squat. It's a move that I feel like a lot of the athletes have done before. There we go, a little back flag to keep him on the wall. Nice job for Sean Bailey. Good round.
Yeah, it is a good round. That puts him right up at the top of the leaderboard, just above Daiki, due to
Now,
attempts.
He will wait and see. But, I mean, are we halfway? Yeah, we're halfway through now. So, not a bad spot to be as we're not halfway because we have 22.
True, yeah.
Almost. One more climber and then we'll be halfway.
Well, if you're just joining us, hello and welcome to Salt Lake City. This is the men's semi-final round. Yesterday was the women's semi-final and women's boulder final and speed final. This afternoon, after this finishes, you get a bit of a break, and then at 6 p.m. Salt Lake City time, we have the men's final, and immediately after that, the speed final. So lots of climbing going on today. My name is Matt Groom, joined by Megan Martin. I'm having a good time here in the sun in Salt Lake.
It's a little bit of wind, just perfect for us and for the climbers. Xander Waller just resting a bit. Oh, just missing it. Ritsu on that jump. We've seen the jump done a lot in a lot of different variations. Sometimes it takes a couple tries for the men to get the right method to get there, and then some men have really struggled with the top and others have made it look very easy. Hamish looking like he's in a good position right now. Yet to see a top here. Ooh! See, using his length here in a very smart way. We've not seen a single person stick that hold yet. Looks like it'd be hard to get out of that, but I do think it's possible, depending on strength and mobility.
And Zander now, he's sitting in 7th at the moment. He figured out the drop down.
Oh, but choosing to match that time instead.
I think he's done, yeah, minute 20, he's going to call it on that. And Hamish has come close, but not quite on all of these boulders.
Yeah, Hamish not getting a top on number 1 is really going to hurt him in this round. So if he can pull it out on either this one or the last boulder, it'll put him in a much better position. But number 1 is definitely the boulder to do, as most of the men have done it so far.
Yeah, not many missed. I think he's the only one, in fact, so far.
Yeah, Ritsu has under a minute now, but plenty of time to still do this boulder.
So that's the story of this semi-final so far. No tops on 2 and 3. A couple of tops, 1 top on 4, and 2 tops on 4, and lots of tops on boulder 1. Much, much harder than the qualifying round. And Hamish leaves the mats. He's not going to get that boulder.
Oh, disappointing. Ooh, lots of momentum there for Ritsu to stop. Oh, wow.
Just saved it.
I was not sure that was going to happen. Great save there.
Yeah, his palm providing the friction needed.
He really went into that finishing move very confidently, too. So confident that even though I feel like he was falling, he was able to still stay on because he was that confident that he could do it.
Yeah, you called it. He had a minute left and plenty of time to send it. And Hamish gave that boulder a long look as he left the stage as Ritsu topped out.
It's haunting him.
Yeah, it really is. All right. Well, we're now coming up to the halfway mark of our semi-final. Nicolas Collin from Belgium, one of a very strong Belgian team. Hannes, of course, in the final as well. Chloe Collier missing yesterday from the semi-final. Actually, I don't think she's in Salt Lake.
Yeah, I don't think she's here.
She's training at home, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes it's hard with start lists because sometimes athletes pull out last minute. You never quite know who's turning up.
I mean, that's how I felt when I saw that Jane Kim was coming. I was like, I hope this is true.
Yeah, I thought it was a mistake. I
did too. I was like, oh my gosh. And then I saw it, and gosh, she just missed out on semis. She did incredible. I'm excited to watch her this season.
Yeah, there's a lot of Jane Kim chat going around the stadium at the moment. A lot of rumours. We'll see. Is she going for Olympic qualification? Oof, that'd be tasty if she does.
That would be awesome.
All right, Nicholas facing out, one of the few athletes who have tried this spin method.
But looks like he's trying to get back faced in.
Yeah, there he goes.
Thought better of it pretty quickly.
He turns. He's just going to get that left foot away from the starting hold. Gets stood up on the football-shaped volumes.
So many of the men using the cracks in the wall. Obviously, that is fair play. Cracks, screw holes. The only thing you can't do is use those T-nuts for your fingers. Some of these walls don't even have T-nuts on them.
Yeah, and it's incredible. We never saw that before, and it's really become a thing now. Crimping the edge of the wall at the back of a volume. Sometimes the root setters block it, but it's crazy what they can hold on to.
And even when they block it, sometimes someone finds a way to use it anyway.
It's that cat and mouse game that we talk about between the setters and the athletes. Everyone's kind of on the same team. It's a bit of a strange situation, you know, and a lot of the route setters are climbers and climb with the athletes, and yet when you come out here, it's, you know, it is a bit of a game.
I feel like it's kind of a team effort, right? One can't exist without the other, and they're mutually going towards the same goal, right? They want a good climbing competition to happen.
Exactly. The athletes want to be tested. The route setters want good boulders. Like we're all aiming for the same thing.
Exactly. Teamwork.
Yeah. Well, Geva is on this tricky boulder. Gets the heel in, looks for the big bump up to the sloper. Just misses.
Kind of looks like he kind of just rushed that position a little bit. Could be a little more patient there. Nikolai trying to get into that zone and be in a stable position. So the zone is actually on the volume so that means that anything he grabs there is giving him the zone. So the tape, whatever's attached to that volume counts as the zone. The volume can be the zone.
It's all zone.
It's all zone.
All zone.
It's not always like that. But
No,
for this boulder it is.
sometimes you see it on a specific jib or something on a volume. You
Yep.
have to be careful. And it's something that the judges always check with the route setters before
Yeah.
they start judging. Nicholas nearly leaves the mats there as he falls.
A little too explosive.
Yeah. He's got lots of time. We know it's just a question of unlocking that
I think
first
you could
move.
do this boulder even with like 25 seconds left if you were like super efficient.
Yeah, it's just 2 moves, really. I mean,
Yeah.
it's kind of a stand up, jump right, and then go up. So three moves.
Yeah.
Counting once again, affecting me. I got a lot of stick yesterday for messing up the boulder numbers from my director mainly. Right, Nikolai.
Little bobble there, but nice save. I've seen a lot of the men as they're trying to stand up there, like their legs shaking a lot. It's far more strenuous than it looks, and they're standing on a really bad little screw-on that has the slippery texture beneath it. So if any part of your body gets onto that slipperiness, you kind of lose your balance. Geva in a higher position on this boulder than we saw before, looking for that little heel hook foot squeeze that Yoshiyuki did.
Nicholas has time, but it is running out. 50 seconds. If he can just figure out this jump, the rest will come easy.
Oh, it looked like he was on the way and he just slipped at the last second.
I haven't seen much of Yoshiyuki, but he's on men's 3.
And we were definitely talking about how we thought this boulder would be something he would like. Looking to struggle a little bit here.
Tricky for Yoshiyuki. And Nikolai has 24 seconds, so he's got to start moving quickly, which is always dangerous on these tenuous moves. Up to a little undercling with the thumb.
But does make for good buzzer beaters if possible. Yoshiyuki running off the mats.
And Nicholas as well on the top right, top left. He's about to make the top.
Exciting. No!
Oh, big fall, big reaction from the crowd.
Gave it his all.
He did. Well, he'll leave. That was exciting stuff.
Oh, that's a bummer. Now the second person to not do that boulder, so I think earlier I said everyone was going to do it, so I was wrong.
That's fine.
I can admit when I'm wrong.
I can't. Never wrong. Right, Mika Mauem runs on for Team France. Super popular athlete on the circuit.
Super nice to see him in the semifinal. Obviously a highly decorated athlete, but that qualifier round for the men, you had to be kind of perfect, so.
Yeah, true. Well,
nice to see him qualify high.
Yeah, he gets his comp going, whereas down at the other end of the mat, Hamish MacArthur is finishing things off, and he's been frustrated, so he'll want a top here just to give himself a bit of confidence.
And hopefully, though, that frustration allows him to stay patient, because that is the name of the game on this boulder specifically for the men.
And Zander is making good progress as well as you watch him on the main screen. He's got the wraparound on that volume.
So many different ways to do that section, and I think depending on the height, too, changes your approach. Ritsu, finding that drop down right away, but not in the right position to make it happen, as Mikhail slowly inches his way to that zone, setting up nicely to be in a great position to control it when he decides to hop over there. Nice. Bringing that left hand in, too. We haven't seen a lot of the men do that, and really subtle, but way more secure.
This is his flash go. Yeah, we had a bit of a period where Boulder 1 wasn't getting done as quickly, but Mika signals perhaps a new beginning as we enter the second half of the semi-final. He'll leave early, have a long rest. And Zander is resting as well.
Always nice to start the round off that way.
Hamish nailed the first move, as you can see him running out of your screen there. Stick with Zander. This is Ritsu.
So Ritsu knows the beta, but needs to find that body position. Have to see if he's able to adjust here and make that happen. Looks really fresh. Maybe, a toe hook. I thought heel, but toe. It's interesting. And into it. Oh, wow. What is he going to... Oh, wow.
Can he hold the swing, though? See, this is the thing. It's a big movement, isn't it?
I think the other method would look closer for him. I think he should maybe commit to trying to find that body position.
Xander asked for another brush. I think the brushes need to just stay on the mats at the moment as the temperature rises. And of course, the more athletes you go through the semi-final, the more dirt, sweat, chalk builds up on the holds. Yeah, shoe rubber. So it is a bit tricky later on.
Which is why when you see the qualification happen, or I guess you don't see it, but when you watch results, that's why you see your highest ranked athletes come out first in qualification, so they have the freshest boulders, get rewarded for good results coming into each competition.
Sounded like some kind of a sort of a dishwashing advert then. Freshest boulders. Right, Hamish brings the foot through.
Really kind of squatting down rather than standing up to it. Now he goes back. Oh no.
That cross looks super nasty.
Yeah. You know, I wonder if because he's a little longer, if he could step his right foot through early, kind of how Daiki tried earlier. It could be really off balance, but might be something to think about.
Yeah. Hamish really wants a top for his own confidence here.
Yeah, he definitely needs a top.
And Ritsu is having a long look as well. He tried an outrageous toe hook. Didn't quite work, but was cool to see. And then Xander now out towards the side pulls. He's done a few methods through this as well.
Yeah, can't really decide which one he likes the best. There we go. Set up in a better position now to get back into the zone.
That's much better from Xander.
And he could maybe reach from here as well. Yeah, man, the minute you release the feet there, it's just really hard to hang on to that sloper because you just start falling away from it. And again, especially with the heat and whatnot, it just makes it that much more difficult.
Hamish
no, so close. I really like how he responds with a lot of emotion.
Yeah, he's just not seeing the sequences.
Yeah, he's kind of trying to force things versus let them happen. Nice climbing from Ritsu.
Yeah, Hamish is going to have one last go at this, 18 seconds.
Wow, that is not a lot of time.
No, and he hasn't figured this out yet. Bobbles off, and that is his comp done.
Frustrating round for Hamish.
Yeah, he has one last look back and then leaves.
Aww.
Towel on his head. Hearts go out to Hamish. He will return, of course. I think he's registered for Prague, so hopefully he does a bit of training, resets, and then we'll see him soon.
Hardest thing about competition climbing, letting it go. Whether you're having to let a boulder go to move on to the next one or just let go what happened at a comp.
Yeah, that's a life lesson, Megan, you're teaching me. I'm going to take that philosophy into my
No, it's
everyday.
so true. It's like
good.
it's a difficult thing. It's so much easier said than done, but it's necessary if you're going to be successful in this competitive field.
Well, Ross Fulkerson is out. He was climbing on real rock right up to the last minute before he came to Salt Lake. Some athletes do that, you see. That's a different sort of ways of training. Some of them, I think Yene Kruder, for example, loves to climb outdoors on rock, and he's always out. Nicholas Collin on Boulder 2, and he's a thuggy climber, so he might enjoy this.
Little foot slip early, but not deterring him at all. Ross up on men's number 1. Ross is quite tall, long arms, long legs, but lots of mobility and hip flexibility for someone that is that tall. I always appreciate that when tall climbers have that ability. I think it's pretty cool. He does spend a lot of time on it though, so it's not like just naturally coming to him. He really puts in the effort.
Yeah, and he had a big old jump there, just caught it, flying across.
Yoshiyuki looking cool, calm, and collected as he slowly tries to figure out this cross through, whether he goes inside or outside. Time will tell, or if he just drops down and forgets the foot altogether.
Yeah, he's on the top right, M4. And we're main screen, Yoshiyuki Ogata. Right, so
I feel like I can't talk. He's making me nervous.
I know, it's such a different method from everyone else. They're pressing up on that zone.
And this was what I was curious about, if anyone would try to go straight up, which they were like, I mean, maybe, but it's going to be really hard, which I agree.
So Ross again gets that left leg out.
He's got to set up for this jump across. You know, and some of the men just choosing to go dynamically from this position, others trying to get stood up on both blue holds in order to do it. Either way works, just depends on what you're more comfortable with. Looks like Ross is going to set up to go all together. Almost gets there.
Yeah, Ross has another look. He looks massive stood up on that thing. A giant.
I will say when you are standing more spread out that way, it does feel a little more scary to create all that momentum and start running. Something about it, you just feel like, oh, I could slip. It seems a little counterintuitive. So I think that's why a lot of the men are trying to get stood up on both the blue holds, because it just is a little more comfortable.
And Ross again drops the foot down.
Now he's set up a little better to have more momentum over. Nicely done.
Right, so the crowd react. Big cheer from them as their athlete gets established on the zone, one move away.
And this is where I feel like that mobility will serve him well. He might actually even be able to reach from here, but he may be forced. Woo! Good save. Seen a lot of those. Just proving how good that zone hold is.
Yeah.
Giant jug. It's a bucket.
It is a giant jug.
Yoshiyuki on the top right of the screen, slowly inching back over to the zone. Honestly, if he wants to stay in the running, really needs a top here.
Just for Ross and a big smile.
Ross creating all of the drama here in the venue. The crowd very much so behind him.
Yeah, they react as he goes again.
Going for this method we saw work for Xander for a second. Just under a minute.
Yeah, the buzzer goes. Geva there on the side of your screen jumps, holds his elbows.
There we go.
And Ross tops out on the slab.
Good decision making from Ross Fulkerson. Off to a great start in the round. Again, that boulder not being topped by everyone, but if you want to stay in the running, definitely need to.
So, the Belgian athlete leaves. And 20 seconds to go with a mat. Oh no, we've got a couple of them there, and Geva with a big tie toe hook
Like
drops
that toe
in.
hook.
It's interesting, with only a set of 4 holds, how many different methods we've seen on it.
Granted, that kind of compression and forced movement does create an opportunity to have things work so differently for each person. Again, more so depending on their dimensions. A little replay here of Ross Fulkerson. Only stuck the move to the zone once and then spent quite some time here, but was lucky enough to find the right beta after a few impressive saves like that one and get it done.
Super good to see. And we watch him once more. He dropped down, he reset a few times, had a couple of smiles at the audience, with some close misses, but he got the job done. Bumping up with a big left hand onto that zone hold. Thumb trying to find some friction. Palms in. Job done. And his teammate Colin Duffy is in action now. Back on the slab.
Yeah, and Colin already showing a better competition here than the last 2 World Cups. You know, a lot of these athletes are in school, and I do feel like that does play a role when they're having to balance competing, also taking tests and whatnot while they're on the road. So I do feel like coming into the summer makes it a little lighter for a lot of the athletes who are managing school and, you know, climbing professionally and dominating World Cups and all that. I mean, multitasking.
Yeah,
I don't know how.
Is Colin as he runs towards the right. Xander, his teammate, is in action on the final slab. Mika Mawam on M2.
Colin was choosing a more dynamic method the first time to establish on this boulder and finding a bit of a better method this time. Ooh, nice.
Yes.
Very controlled. And again, he doesn't look like he's slipping off that left side of the wall, but it is actually very slippery with how painted it is. But he should be set up nicely to make it work this time.
Yeah, super strong.
Remember, double golds in Innsbruck last year was his highlight of the year, and he's someone who can do special things when he's feeling it.
Setting up for the top here. Oh, just a little bobble. Almost came back down and saved himself, but now he knows how to get to the zone pretty quickly, so shouldn't be as much of an issue to get back there. Xander just trying to find the right body positions here. Man, Daiki made this look so easy.
Well, we thought that slab was going to get done, but look at the scores, man. Only 2 tops so far on it.
I guess Sean made it look pretty easy as well.
Yeah, Sean looks like he's
in a good spot right now.
Good spot, yeah. And we've got some big names coming, but no one that, you know, I mean, you look at everyone in this semi-final.
Yeah.
A lot of them could make finals, you know.
Yep. I mean, Yoshiyuki is on the bubble in 6th place right now already. So, I mean, Daiki is also in a really good position, having already had some big names come out.
It's going to build to an exciting crescendo as we reach the end. Coming up to 11:11. It's about an hour and a bit to go on the semi-final. Back heel from Xander. Sorry, back toe. And that red hold is a bit misleading almost, because you're trying to work out how to use it, but you've still got to go towards the left.
Yeah, it's not really doing much other than like keeping a little bit of balance for you as you try to cross your foot through or foot swap or drop down, whatever you decide to do. But it's you wish it was more helpful than it is. Ritsu getting into the zone. Woo, little slip, but nice save.
I was really looking forward to people wrestling with that sloper up there, but no one's got anywhere near it yet. Trying to find it.
It looks like, I was going to say, it looks like he wants to cut and bring the heel over, but it's a little uneasy. Colin Duffy with the top on men's number 1. Good start to his round.
Yeah, he did what he needed to do. Just need a top on that. Only 2 have dropped it so far.
Yep, if you want to stay in the game, you definitely have to top that boulder.
Still, no one's sending boulder 3. No one's sending boulder 4.
My predictions are so off on those 2 boulders.
$1 million, remember?
Whoops.
I remember shaking on it.
That was a ghost.
Right. Xander now. That screw on is so tiny. He covers it completely with his
save.
foot. Looks down, trying to see it, but it is blind.
I almost, this might sound crazy, but I almost wonder if kind of jumping into the zone as like a drop down could be easier for some of the athletes. I mean, obviously it's super risky, but if you're already falling trying to go slow, you might as well at least one time try to go fast. Because once you drop down there...
So what, catch it with the palm? Or?
No, I mean like just commit to like jumping down into the zone and catching it underneath.
Oh, I see.
Because that's what you end up doing. You end up coming down under it, but slowly. And who's to say it couldn't work by going dynamically?
Hey, you should get out there and test it out in between rounds. Well, Xander was just...
Hold on, everybody.
Yes, wait a minute. Megan's on. Xander there was just told to reset his position. Didn't start in the correct position by that time. The time was gone anyway, so he bailed. His 8-second transition as our drone continues to hover over us. Myself and Megan were in the middle tent, right in the center of the crowd, which is a cool place to be. And Alex Kazanov comes on. Ross Fulton falls over. Let's all go out there on the mats. Alex struggled with some injuries early on in the season, but he's back to fitness now. Sort of the daddy figure of that Israel team. Super experienced.
Definitely the leader. That is
leader
for sure.
is better than the daddy. Apologies, Alex.
I don't know. People are into daddy and mother now. Those terms have been floated around.
Well, there we go.
In the social world. I don't know. I don't know what any of them
Things are getting
mean.
weird here in the semi-finals, but Alex is stood up. Nicholas Collin on the main screen. And there is Alex Kazanov crimping the edge of the wall. We've seen quite a few people do that.
Also, at this point, I bet there's a lot of chalk there, so everyone's like, do I crimp the wall? Is that how everyone else is doing it?
Yeah,
I don't
that's a
know.
good point.
Definitely does help to get over onto both of those blue holds. And then this jump is just less of a jump when you are able to do that. Losing his balance, though, on his way over. So you do have to jump from a stable position still.
Yeah, Alex is an interesting point in his career where, he's been doing this game for a long time. Olympics is his focus, qualifying for it, and we'll see what happens after that. Right, Ross with a knee. Clever climbing there.
Yeah.
We've only seen that once before. Goes up to the slope with a power scream, gets the heel in and rocks up to the awful zone slopey hold.
See if he can figure out. Oh, he's going to try that heel hook I was kind of mentioning. Does seem really improbable to get out of that, though. Such an interesting boulder because it's really all about figuring out if you can see the drop down, and then after that it's still really hard, even if you get there.
Yeah, Alex needs to find something here. He's got lots of time to figure it out. Goes slowly to get stood up on the second football.
Just kind of slipped left. Oh, and
closer.
again.
Yeah, fingertips away, but not quite there yet. His teammate Geva there on his final boulder. I'm sure his brother Ram is watching, cheering him on. Two of them own a gym in Israel.
Oh, that's exciting.
Yeah, so as I said, Israeli climbing coming through. Nicholas Konal pulls on to M3.
Just missing the start there for Geva.
Right, Nicholas goes horizontal as he reaches that side pull. Gets the toe locked in and then a big, right hand into the side pull.
Yeah, scooting up those toe hooks. Definitely helpful to get into the jib there. Yeah, interesting that he's keeping it. Oh, right hand, just a little slip. Oh, a little tired.
Yeah, I mean, every adjustment he makes, he's going to be sliding off more.
Yeah, all the tension from your fingertips to your toes on that one.
So Geva is stood up on the first screw on.
Oh, look, he's trying to stay low. Oh, now coming up. I was going to say, because if you stay low there, that is the way that you could possibly just jump into it. Honestly, though, if you're on the wall, it might feel completely different. It's just...
Yeah,
what if you press?
Oh, wow, so he's going to...
It looks like he's pressing, yes. Oh, gosh, this is interesting.
The problem is he's got to bring that left foot up all the way to where his hand is.
Take a lot of mobility, and that right foot is not... You'd end up having to turn it down somehow, too.
I think this is a move that it looks more improbable when I'm looking at it in real life than on the screen. I don't think that's
now, if
go.
there was a crack in the wall to grab there, I don't think there is, but that would change things.
That would change things. Joe, the MC hypes the crowd. And the crowd respond.
Oh, Alex just coming off there. Man, surprising that this is giving him that much trouble. I mean, we've seen a few of the men struggle to get to the zone and then struggle to get the top, but I feel like this movement is one that they've seen a lot. And especially Alex, I mean, he's been doing this for a long time, so I guess I'm just a little surprised.
Yeah, he's got to motor. He's got 35 seconds. Needs to stick the zone hold. This will be probably his last chance of this.
There we go. No.
No.
Oh, man.
He's the only one who won't get the zone. He's got 27 seconds. He'll go again. Ross Fulkerson locks in the heel.
He's not going again.
Wow.
Oh, my gosh. He doesn't know what he's doing. Not like that, but like that is the boulder that you need all the points on. The rest of these are so rough. Although I do think number 4 could be one he could do, but not getting the zone there. It just, you know, in some rounds, and that's the thing, in some rounds that's okay, right? But this round I don't think so, because 2 and 3 are just nails.
Yeah, Alex has given himself a massive task for that one. We'll see. He'll reset. Careful of the trees, Mr. Pilot, as he flies in overhead. Hold your breath. All right, Zach Galler is on for USA. It's a big cheer. He runs next to Colin Duffy from the USA as well. Mikael Mauam is on M3. And there is Zach Galler getting a huge support from the crowd.
Yep, another one of the athletes that lives here in Salt Lake City. Moved here from Georgia, where he grew up. I saw his mom. I don't know if his dad's here, but I saw his mom was here, so always nice to have your parents in the crowd.
Yeah, there are lots of parents here.
Yeah.
My mum couldn't make it.
Neither can mine.
Sad. There's Ritsu on the slab.
My second mother's here, Robin. Rabbitoo, so it's okay.
That's all right. Get a hug. So Ritsu. Oh, look at this. He's going really low.
And this is what I was talking about, how it could, well, I mean, I thought maybe more dynamically, but it is good.
And Mika Mauam is, matched the sloper for a second. But look at Colin Duffy. He's actually into the match.
And he didn't even do the drop down. Oh, wow. Look at that. Oh, no.
Colin is so strong at those kind of moves.
He really is.
Aggressive, shouldery sequences.
Big slip for Zach Galla there. Definitely can get that one done. So what Colin just did looked so hard, and I think it could work. The worry is how taxing those moves are, right? And can he do it again? Honestly, I feel like second try would be very necessary just because it's so tiring. Third try would be incredible if you could, but it seems more improbable just because these moves are so difficult and the angle is a lot steeper, and with the sweat.
But also in the back of his head, he'll be looking left, seeing another physical boulder coming up. You know,
Totally.
he's got to save himself a little bit,
Yeah.
so it's a balancing act at this point.
100%.
Second boulder in, but Colin looked good. First one to do that.
Yeah.
Zach is in the corner, brings the left foot down. It's the right foot drilled in. Trying to get as much friction as possible. Heels down as he brings the left to match.
Ooh, just like teetering. Keeping it spicy, but looking more in control now so he can set up to jump over. Ooh, going back.
It's a climb that changes so much depending on the athlete on it. Sometimes it's impossible, like when Alex was on it, and then other people are just cruising it.
Yeah. Colin back on men's number 2. The most progress we've seen so far. Honestly, the way he's catching the holds, he looks like he's got a lot in the tank, which is a good sign. Getting that drop down. And then into the match here in a second. Oh, dang it.
That toe, so important. Anything keeping him in, really.
Yeah.
But Colin looks down at his skin, and it's going to be a real gamble
This is
if
what
he
I
goes
was
again.
talking. And honestly, he jumped on the wall a little sooner than I would have thought, because those moves are extremely taxing. It's a bummer, too, because he did so much more and gets no more points, right?
This is what I mean. I think we should give some style points going on here.
Or, I mean, I think the zone being that dish makes sense, but I don't know, like the pinch was a lot harder to get to.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's a lot of chat being done about this 2 zones for the combined format, but I mean, part of me quite likes it because it does allow that problem to be solved. That if you go past the first crux, you know, you do get
There's
rewarded.
That second crux, yeah.
Well, we'll see. So Zach gets the zone.
It's just easy that time. Yeah, all about the body positions on that one.
This is attempt number 4 for him.
Have to be in a balance point before you jump over there. His foot slipped the first time, his left foot on this one, so let's see if he can make that adjustment.
Good work from Zach with 50 seconds to go. Have to get that, does.
Yeah, the necessary top as Mika works his way through. He looked pretty good up here on that zone. See if he can get out of it. Only seen a couple people touch that next one. So yeah, this foot, the thing is like you can't just cut and bring the foot over, so bringing it over with the foot scum seems to be the better way. Oh, Ritsu just dropping the top. That's so disappointing.
Yeah, Boulder 4 is, I mean,
haven't seen it done in a while.
exactly. I mean, only Sean Bailey and Daiki did it. And when Daiki did it, we were kind of thinking, oh, well, it might be a bit simple, but nope, not the case.
Just something he's really good at.
Yeah, turns out he's just amazing.
Yeah.
Well, Mika waves goodbye.
And that being said, though, that move, again, like that move is done a lot. And so it is surprising that people are dropping that top, but really they are struggling more with the lower section of the climb and just getting over there.
All right, well, we're in this transition period. Next set of athletes going. We're nearing the last few to come out and join us on the mats. As the clock counts down, that young man there, 16, Serato and Ruku from Japan. A lot of people have picked him as one to watch for the future, and he's very impressive at the moment. So Serato will start off his competition here in Salt Lake.
Yeah, coming out with that bang in Hachiochi, 5th place finish. That's quite a great start.
Yeah, it is. It's super impressive. Didn't have as good a comp in Seoul, came 29th.
I think consistency takes longer to achieve sometimes.
Absolutely. This is a big year for him. Let's see what he can do. He's easily up into the first move on the top left. Nicholas runs in to the beginning of Boulder 4. Ross is on 3. And Alex Kazanov needs something special on boulder 2 after dropping the zone on boulder 1.
Yeah, going with those double heels. Oh, changing his mind. Seymour. Oh, and back again.
Kind of looks like it might work. So you're dropping down into it, which is what you want. You want to be pulling down on that sloper.
Yeah, Nicholas looking pretty comfortable. Oh, man. But good first go, plenty of time.
Well, hang on, Serato's already left, so he's done it. I missed him
Oh,
even
me
doing
too.
that. He's gone. Done.
Gone
Well,
in
there
a
you go.
flash.
Gone in a flash, exactly.
Did he
I
flash?
think it might have been a flash, yeah. Well, maybe we can catch a
Yep.
replay of that.
He got a flash.
Well, there you go. Prodigy. Done. So Alex has a lot on his shoulders right now. He's got the zone. That's good. At least he's got some points on the board, but he needs a top. He needs something outrageous here to get back in the game.
Yeah, that's stressful. I mean, he doesn't know that, but we do.
Yeah, we do. So Ross matches where his hands are. Struggling on his first move a little bit. Real physical.
Ross quickly getting into that toe hook. Going right hand there is good to just shuffle the feet, but not necessarily great to come in. It really makes it hard to match there. I've seen a few of the men kind of slip like that.
He's making his first moves look quite hard in terms of the physicality involved in it.
Looking on his skin a lot too.
Yeah.
Nicholas super close to getting that left foot over last time. See if he can. Ooh, little slip there.
Oh, again, that finger's bobbling.
See, this boulder is stressful to watch, I feel like, because at any second people just kind of slip here and there.
Well, look at it, full concentration. Is he, what was he doing? Is he crimping? I don't know what he's doing to that hole. He's got a thumb in play for sure.
Thunder clinging.
Thunder clinging.
As you would call his thumb scrag.
Every time you say thunder cling, I think of Thundercats, which is my favourite
That's dating
childhood.
you.
I know, it really is. But yeah, so that song is currently just going round and round in my head. Just to let everyone know where my brain's at right now. Forget the climbing.
I barely remember the Thundercats.
What?
Well, no, I mean, like, I knew what they were, but they weren't on that long for me.
I rebought it on DVD and it's not as good as you remember.
It's
saying.
generally, I did that with Tailspin.
Right, so Nicholas
Crowd
Collins.
starting to cheer, give these men a little more hype.
Well, this is Serato's top. Good we get a replay. He just did it so quickly, we didn't see it, but super clean from him. Flash on boulder 1. Right, Ross needs the crowd behind him as he launches up again.
Yeah, that first move is just a little more difficult than maybe some of the other men have made it look for him, which you need every ounce of energy for every move on this boulder. Yeah, going left hand here, I think is a little bit better. Yeah, honestly, I feel like he could have popped the hand out. It might have been a better option.
Yeah, he's only got 42 seconds. Alex couldn't manage the magic. He leaves. We just stick with Nicholas Collin. He's got his right foot on nothing really. Now brings it down, and we'll look for the cross inside.
There we go.
He's above it though.
So tricky.
Just missed that.
Man, that one time he was so close to stabbing that left foot out on the blue, like half moon hold, but man, 2, 3, 4 really proving to be difficult boulders.
I know. Well, I mean, we talk about it a lot that the athletes like the fight, and they're certainly getting that out there this afternoon.
Yeah, they got what they asked for.
Yeah, 5 athletes to go. Jongwon Chomp will be out next. So the brushers get everything ready. Camera pans round as the buzzer starts beeping down, and there is Jongwon running out. He's having a great season so far.
Yeah. Lots of love from the crowd. He's always a crowd favorite. He definitely plays to the crowd, which is always fun to see, that personality.
Yeah, it is good. And Zach Gallett and Colin Duffy and then Mika Mawam on the slab. Now Mika, he's pretty good at the slab climbing moves.
Yes.
He has dropped the first one, as I said that, but
that one's okay to drop a couple times, especially because few people are topping them, or this climb too specifically, so attempts aren't as big of an issue. Mess up, it's okay. Try again, as long as you top.
As long as you top. Well, he's established now.
Which again is that like freedom, which is nice. Getting called off for maybe not establishing properly. As John Wang gets ready to set up for this jump. I was gonna say there's more success when they bump their right foot up to that other blue hold before going, but not to say it's impossible.
Yeah, Zhongwon is again a sort of a father figure to that Korean team. He's teaching them the techniques, the tips, the trips. And Mika is possibly going to try to press his way.
Whoa.
Nearly lost his hand. Oh.
That was a really good save.
You can see what they're all thinking when they want to do that.
But the thing is like, even if you can end up reaching that top hold, like, to bring that foot up from that position would be so difficult. I think it would make more sense if you maybe went right foot first and then could just stand up and pistol squat from the right side with your left leg on the zone and just like bypass using the zone. But otherwise it seems, and that still seems really crazy, but
And I wish I could watch Sean Bailey do it again on Daiki, because I just want to remember
so
how they were doing it. Yeah, made it look like nothing. Oh, big swing from Zach. A bit of frustration. So as we near the end of our semi-final, we can start to see things taking shape. 6 athletes, remember, can only progress. Sean Bailey on the top spot, looking fairly solid for a final at the moment, as is Daiki.
Yeah. Yoshiyuki already pushed out of the final spot. Colin Duffy setting up to go to this zone. He was a little stretched there. It was questionable whether he's going to get enough pop without that toe hook coming out, but lots of good tension there.
Very powerful move coming. It's nothing for his left foot.
Super powerful and like good at this kind of movement and climbing, but it's so hard to tell because we haven't really seen anyone be successful here.
The problem is that toe kept getting stuck there. You can see him go and got stuck and go again. He has to flick it out if he's going to go for that big jump.
Yeah, I think trying that method of just bringing the other foot out left and then kind of scumming with the toe on the left side of the hold and then releasing seems like the only method that might work. Sean Bailey got pretty close doing it that way.
Oh, look at Mika. That's totally blind.
Oh my goodness. Oh wow, beautiful. This is so beautiful.
That's great footwork from Mika, but then he falls.
Goodness gracious.
I don't think he had that left toe on properly when he was stretching sideways.
Ugh.
That was super risky. Jongwon hasn't got, well, as he's flicked to him now, hasn't got this done yet. Hasn't got a zone either,
yeah,
so he's struggling.
he hasn't had the zone yet. And again, some of these seasoned athletes, it's surprising me because this kind of movement is just one that they've seen a million times. That being said, it might feel different on the wall. And sometimes, even though the move looks familiar, it can feel like super foreign.
Well, it's interesting that we've seen no one do it the way the setters thought they would do
I
it.
know.
You know, it's like, so yeah, it's a funny old boulder. Zach with a knee bar, which we've seen a few do now. And Colin as well, you can see him on the red. He's on that final move, chalks up as well before he goes to the sloper.
Smart, because you need all the friction you can get there. There we go. Oh, that's the best we've seen a foot release there. Zach Gala on the match here, but a little sucked in with that toe hook on the right.
Trying to go dynamically.
No, not enough time actually to even make an adjustment and try again.
And Jean needs this now. Fingertips in. He's going to have to run if he wants another go. I think he might stop. He has stopped, so that's another non-zone.
Oh my goodness, this round is just a nail biter.
Yeah, some carnage at the end of this semi-final.
I'm stressed. I feel like I need help.
Please send help to the commentary box. Anyone?
I am unwell.
Yes. Well, there is our commentary box. I'll wave, see if you can see me. You can't see me, but I'm in the middle.
Right in the middle.
Transition time. Next athlete will be Nimrod Marcus, another member of Team Israel, and a very good placing from qualifying from him. Alex Kazanov is back. Serato is on M2.
Can't wait to see him on that. And then Ross Fulkerson is going to finish things off on the slab.
Yes, Serato on 2 could be exciting. Colin got really close.
Yeah, the only one to do
Honestly,
that.
I think it just comes down to your first, unless you don't make it to the zone on your first attempt, then maybe it could be your second. But otherwise, I think it's your first attempt. That is the only way you can do that boulder. Alex off to a good start here on men's number 3. He definitely needs to climb well on this boulder after not getting the zone and really looking strong here.
Yeah, excellent from him.
Maybe he can figure out this little foot hop over.
He's trying to find something with his left foot as well. Turns it into a heel, but he's kind of going
For a
backwards
second, I thought he was going to try to match the zone. Serato already matching the zone, so like I said, his first attempt could be the best one. Oh my gosh, please, I really want to see a top here.
Well, he's got further than anyone else. He's only a couple of moves away.
He looks super secure. Yes.
Wow.
A top on number 2. Thank you, Serato. We've been waiting for a top.
Well, you need 5 more tops to win the bet, so fingers crossed for the rest of it.
Well, I mean, I know that's not happening.
What a performance. Serato is just, he's on a bit of another level here tonight. It's a bit like watching Natalia yesterday. You know, there's sometimes an athlete just has something extra.
Yeah. So 2 flashes for him, too. I mean, setting him up, 2 flashes setting up really nicely.
Well, that's a good close-up of the zone hold on the slab. That's how nasty it is. Thumbs.
That would have been cool.
Yeah. Hold the swing and then climb back up, perhaps.
That's fun.
Yeah. So Ross Fulkerson, interesting stuff for him. Alex Kazanov is in. Serato, magic on M2. And then Nimrod Marcus is trying to figure out this sequence, as we know how important this boulder is. Interesting, bit of a chess match going on here in the semi-finals as we near the end. 3 athletes to come. Toby Roberts, Hannes van Dyson and Tomoa Narasaki have yet to climb.
Nimrod set up really nicely for this jump. Very good execution there. I'm sure he'll see that the stand up with the heel hook is likely what he needs to do.
There he goes. He does a lot of setting.
Nice. You know, I'm having a flashback of a World Cup in Vail where Killian did that on a boulder, and it was like the first time anyone had seen that done.
What, the high heel?
Well, no, like a stand up to a heel.
Okay.
I mean, that was years ago. Now we see it all the time, but it's funny to think back to those movements and remember the first time you saw them.
No,
I think it was like 2014 or something.
I agree.
A long time ago.
In Japan, we had that boulder that no one had ever seen before, but you know, now everyone will know it, and it's the same kind of thing. We progress forward.
Yeah.
By the route setters giving us horrible boulders.
Horribly difficult.
Horribly
but
difficult.
Nice, or thankful for the boulders.
Oh yeah, aesthetically wonderful. But.
So, yeah.
Right, Ross brings it right. He's got a finger pressing down on the zone hold. I think he's going to think about going straight up as well, but now, no, he's dropping down.
2 tops puts you in contention for finals at this moment, so if he can make something happen here, he could possibly be in a place where he could maybe get himself back into a final.
Right, he's dropping really low, as you suggested. A bit like Hamish, actually.
Oh, man, that was really cool.
Top marks for the fall there.
I do think if you're going to do that drop, like, you can't have your right foot high on the start hold. Like, I think that keeps you in a position that you cannot drop down slowly or even fast. And then once you do drop down, you're so off balance and your legs are above you. So then they will pull you down really fast. So I think if you're going to do that, you need to just stay low altogether.
Let's see if Ross can figure that out. He's got 30 seconds now. Alex looks solid through here, but cannot work out that left foot. Up to the sloper, and again, that left foot's dancing around, looking for something.
Yes, yes. Oh, man, that was so close.
He just got the heel locked in. He thought he might go through.
A bit more controlled than we see some of the other athletes do that movement. And
Ross is, he's going all the way.
oh, wow. I mean,
Why not?
Why not? Yeah, exactly. 4th boulder. Good effort from Ross Fulkerson.
Would have been cool if he'd stuck that, but even for his height, I think that was a bit of a reach.
Literally.
Yeah. Right. 14 seconds before Toby Roberts comes out for the first time, and Toby is right up there for Team Great Britain.
Yeah.
Toby got his first medal in Edinburgh for lead. He was more of a lead specialist. And fun fact, Megan, I've known Toby since he was about 8 when he started climbing 8As. I've interviewed him a bunch of times with him and his dad, and it's really weird to watch him as an adult.
Yeah, it's a strange thing when you see them grow up. I feel that way all the time. I'm like, what?
I know.
You were a baby before. I don't understand. It's crazy.
He's in a good run of form at the moment. Jeongwon Jeon is back on the powerful M2, and he needs something special here. But he's the kind of guy who could pull off something special.
For sure. He's done it many times.
Yeah, Korea was incredible. His flashes there. So, and we know how important it is to get that quickly. Colin
Toby
and Zach
quickly
down the
up
end.
on the boulder. He did a quick stand up and almost fumbled that left hand, but was able to recover.
Right, keep an eye on the top of the screen as well. Jeongwon
Looking really casual currently as Toby sets himself up in a balanced position to hop across over to that zone hold.
Jeongwon is looking for the big kick on the slope, but just gets it as well. Now he needs to drop down though into something. He's not looking stable.
Oof.
Toby into the zone.
Nice. Really good catch there from Toby.
Yeah, and Jeongwon fell. Colin is trying to work out the slab.
Ooh, little save there. Gonna have to stand up a little more aggressively. Nicely done.
Good
Is that
work.
a flash, I think,
Yeah, it
for
is.
Toby?
Good work from Toby.
Nice
So,
start.
yeah, what he needs to do. So everyone is down at the moment. Zach and Colin on the left. There's Jeongwon resting. And Colin looks confused.
I feel like it's hard not to feel confused there, because when you're in a position where you feel like the finish hold makes more sense to go too straight up, but you know they want you to go out left, because why else would they put those holds there? I think it's hard to kind of get a handle on what's happening there, but like, you know, you really should somehow get out left. And I think that's why it was probably confusing. Ooh, little slip. Looks like he was trying to stay lower that time though and just kind of avoid standing up. Because really going up to that screw on, to stand up, to come back down, it seems kind of like a waste of time, right?
Yeah, I know what you mean. Zach gets spread out as he bumps the right hand up. Needs to leave room to bring the left in onto that screw on.
Definitely needs to scoot the toe hook up. He's a little bit spanned there.
Jeongwon goes again. He's been resting all this time. One attempt so far on this. Will he do the same method? He looks solid, but couldn't work out how to move off it.
Yeah, that body position he was in didn't give him the ability to like drop down that well.
Oh, that's better from him though. Gets the undercling
Yeah.
now.
Yeah, going just before with the feet. Crowd's going wild
Oh,
as
no.
off screen Colin Duffy has worked his way out left. So getting set up now. A top would be huge for him to get 2 tops. He's already in 6th right now without. Oh, no.
Oh, what happened there? It's
Oh,
like he tried to
man.
drop down and couldn't hold the drop.
He does have plenty of time.
Oh,
Ugh.
that is a
Gosh.
big moment. That could be the moment of Colin's competition right there.
Yeah.
Zach will pull on quickly.
Zach needing to figure out how to shuffle those feet up a little higher when he gets the toe hooks. Didn't seem to struggle too much getting out to that position, but was definitely too spanned in order to keep moving forward in the boulder. Oh, quick slip there.
So Colin goes again. Can he remember it? It's not one of those boulders though, where just because you've done it once you can do it again. It's really fiddly, this middle part.
Yeah, and he's also tried so many different things. Like, you have to count on the fact that can you remember what you did last time? Oh, wow. Ay, ay, ay. He definitely has enough time to get back up there. But efficiency and fighting the clock is hard.
Yeah, and I think he's aware of how important it would have been, that top. So hopefully he can sort it out. Jeongwon is resting. Colin goes again for this move. In 6th, would have bumped him right up if he had got it. Out with one finger, just a finger.
Oh, man. The clock.
Yeah, the clock is ticking. I don't think he's going to have time for this, you know. Oh, he's not.
And that's a really good look at that little screw on. It is a dual textured hold. It's mostly the slippery texture with like the tiniest nub of texture. Jeongwon getting the match here.
9
I don't think he
seconds.
has enough time, but really great climbing from him on that boulder. So frustrating that he didn't get the zone on the first one.
know.
Ay.
The one has a lot to do in the next two. 2 climbers to go. Hannes van Dyssen will be up next, who has established himself as the undisputed slab king currently. Made a final, 1 silver in Japan. And there he is in the yellow, followed by Nimrod Marcus. There he is.
I wonder, since people are calling him the Slab King, if that's giving him more pressure every time he comes out to
To be
the
fair,
slab.
I think it might just be me, so I think it's okay.
You're the only one.
He had this incredible dolphin dive celebration as well when he topped the boulder. He hit the deck and then sort of did this, I don't know what it was, a flop?
It's a Shamu. They call it Shamu because Shamu would come up onto the. I used to be a gymnast and we used to do that all the time. We'd be like, Shamu. So I remember watching that and you saying
Right.
that. And I was
Shamu,
like, oh,
okay.
he did the Shamu.
Right, well, I'll remember that, thank you. I'll make a note. Right, Serato.
Oh, yes.
Come on.
Serato.
This is his flash attempt as
Yep.
well. He's flashed everything.
Oh, my goodness. Doing what everyone else has tried to do. Just coming short there, but definitely has enough time. And he should have enough energy because he has not expended too much energy so far in this round, being so efficient in flashing 2 boulders already.
Yeah, Serato is, finding something else here. This is a big statement from him.
Yes. Wow. He made that look so easy.
I know. I sort of looked away and he did most of it. So Hannes rocking up.
I know, we were busy talking about Shamu, which was not as important at all.
Well, I don't know. Learned a new word. I don't know what the judge ran on and did. I think he just dropped a brush down by Nimrod there.
Yeah, maybe they were missing a brush. Alex trying to suss the beta here. Losing his balance, asking for a brush. It is getting hotter. Not exponentially hotter. Like, I think this afternoon will be, or this evening for the final will be much more hot, but it is definitely rising a bit.
It is. And Nimrod here starts to power up the arete. Chooses the heel to rock up to the sloper, just gets it and then bumps.
Looks
into the
really
better
solid here, too. Just needs to see that drop down. Ooh, that took a lot of energy.
Did, and he's going to make room for that. That match is almost impossible. I mean, Colin made it look okay, but Colin's Colin.
And Hannes isn't not stuck the zone yet on this slab.
Come on, Hannes, don't let me down.
Granted, I wouldn't consider this a true slab. This is more of a coordination boulder on somewhat vertical angles, honestly.
Yeah, you're right. It's not the traditional slab we'd expect. Serato's underway again. Look how good he looks.
Let's see. And oh my gosh, just no problem cutting feet and going to that. His hands must be so sticky. Now, oh wow, I was gonna say he didn't use the jib for the foot to pop up there. I was worried, but no problem for Serato. Able to do boulder number 3. So now all the boulders have been topped thanks to Serato, because we were unsure if we'd see a top on 2 and 3 as the round progressed.
He looks super chilled as he walks off.
It's like Velcro.
I know, it's outrageous. I think he might be the favourite for this evening, but we've still got Tomoe Narasaki to come, so we'll see what form he's in. Hannes still hasn't got this zone with a minute and a half to go, and Alex is teetering on the wall, while his teammate Nimrod Marcus has a long look up at boulder 3. Hannes gets the move on the zone, so we sit with Alex here. Oh, Alex falls. And there is Hannes, so 1 move away from the top. Easy work for him.
Must have been a bit frustrating not doing that jump. You can tell he's a bit frustrated, but relieved also to have walked away at the top nonetheless. And little does he know, the attempts are not mattering so much in this round. It's really all about tops because there are not that many of them.
No, it's true.
Only the top 3 athletes right now have more than 1 top. 4th through 6th at the moment have 1 top in all zones.
That's what you need to do to get into the final. You can see that on the right of your screen. We're coming to the business end here, just 1 athlete we haven't seen climb, and then we'll start to lose athletes, lose boulders, and finally we'll just be focusing on Tomoe Narasaki as he closes out our comp. So Alex waves. He still looks happy. He's not going to make finals here, but a good effort into the semis. Shakes his head. I think that was a tough round. He looks battered out there.
Yeah, it was a tough round. I mean, again, I kind of felt this way about the boulders yesterday. Looking at them, they don't look as hard as they climb. You know, they're just far more involved than they appear.
Yeah, you're right. I thought they were quite straightforward when I first saw them.
I was like,
well,
oh God, are they too easy? I don't know. It's hard to know too, because the men and the women that compete in these competitions are so talented, and there's days where the boulders might seem too hard, but on a different day they could be easy for them. You know, it just depends on the day and how everyone's feeling.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because they're just that talented. Lots of excitement for Tomoa Narasaki. Crowd favorite for sure.
Yeah, he comes out onto the mats, 4.5. Toby's next to him.
Also gonna be a dad soon.
Yeah, I was about
How
to say,
exciting.
has Akio given birth yet? Because she was very close a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, I don't know if she has yet, but I know I thought about that. I was like, oh my gosh, she's probably going to be at a World Cup while that happens. But congrats to both of them, and yeah, excited to see it.
Absolutely. Well, Zach Gallo is on slab number 4. Jean-Won John is back on another physical boulder again, something he might like. And Toby starts his journey on boulder 3. Tomoa hasn't started climbing yet. He's just taking his time to check it out.
On a boulder like that, I do feel like time's not as much of the essence. Toby looking really good here. Just needs to figure out how to do that drop down. We'll see if he sees it or if he goes for the match.
He's looking set up for the match, isn't he? He hasn't really got any
way.
room left. Oh, hang on.
Oh, wow.
That's very strong.
We have
Toby.
not seen the match that controlled. Wow.
Well, that would have really taken something out of him, and I'm not sure he's got the power in his right arm to make the snatch to the pinch, and he presses instead.
We saw Colin press here as well. Tomoa making quick work of men's number 1. Time seriously not being of the essence.
Toby tried to flick the press into a pinch.
Yeah, and that's where Colin kind of struggled as well. As Zach Galla getting up into the realm of being able to top men's number 4, just needs to make sure he stays patient and efficient here. Again, the stand-up move is not one that is foreign to any of these athletes. Just have to really stand up and go for it. I
was about to say he might be kicking himself for missing the zone on 3, because if he had topped that, he could have made a play for the final. Well, this was Tomoa's top, which we saw on the small screen but not the big screen, so you get to enjoy this now. A bump up, heel in, easy work for Tomoa Narasaki.
I mean, 2 tops, though, would still put him up, even though he doesn't have 3 zones currently, because a lot of the other people have 1 top. So, and he's definitely capable, Zach is, of getting a top on men's number 4, because he got there so quickly.
Let's see what he can do. He's back on. Was 1 thumb off matching that thing. He looks confident as he pulls through. Needs to be careful, though, in this tricky middle section. There's not a lot. The margins are fine, and he does fall. Sits down, he'll have a bit of a rest. Might change his shoes as well.
Yeah. And Jeong-won looking pretty comfortable here. Just trying to make sure he makes the right decisions. This move to the zone with that toe hook, it's hard to make sure it stays. It's a lot of tension, and they really need to stay focused on it. Now we saw Serato cut easily there. Jeong-won looked pretty good there, but definitely not.
I mean, that cut that Serato did, just...
It made it look like a V3.
Yeah, exactly.
It was insane.
Like the lats that man must have is insane. Right, Toby again. This drop-down cross thing he did was just so strong, but has he got the energy to do it a second time? Very powerful way of doing this boulder.
Yeah, just coming into the match and just avoiding... Oh, wait. Yeah, never mind.
Different from Toby.
This is good, though. That sets you up really nice. And I also wonder if he could drop down to the left-hand pinch and then scoot himself over. We saw Yoshiyuki get a little too sucked into that pinch below. Zach Galla looking to get back into that position on men's number 4. A top here would put him in contention for a spot in the finals. He's been in the finals before in Salt Lake in 2021. I believe he placed 5th that year.
Yeah,
so not in a lot of finals, but been in one before.
Yeah, he needs to go a bit slower.
There we
Gets
go.
the thumbs. Right, let's wait, see his score. Bangs the wall. That was good. End to the comp for Zach
Him
Galla.
into 4th place right now.
That could be enough.
Serato already being in first place.
Yeah, I
Don't
think
need to
he
worry
might be
about
through.
him.
Toby goes again, 36 seconds is not a lot, and he hasn't got the energy.
Jongwon trying to get back up.
He has got time, 25 seconds. Can he hold this cut loose though?
This is so hard. Oh man, it's a little too fatigued.
So Jongwon Chon, bit disappointed. He leaves with 12 seconds to go. And we're done with the slab now. That's finished on men's 1. Tomorrow we'll be up on the Thuggy M2 next. I think that drone is just on constant rotation. I wonder if they bring it down or if it's just hanging out in the air. It's flying towards the city. That's downtown there. It's nice to see mountains behind skyscrapers.
It always is.
That. Well, buzzer goes. Hannes comes on. Nimrod. And then Serato, well, the flash man. Let's see if he can do it again on this slab.
That would be cool to see another flash from him. 3 for 4, that would be cool.
Hannes got the first climb done.
A little slower than he probably would have liked to, but done nonetheless.
Yeah.
He matches this climb a bit.
Can't believe we've seen a top on that.
I know.
It's like, so easy. He's got a flash top.
Ugh,
crazy.
it's insane.
And Serato's taking his time.
It's a good idea.
Yeah, goes for the run and jump. Gets that.
I mean, for him too, he doesn't know, but he has to have some sort of inclination that he's having a really good round, especially being so efficient. So trying to kind of keep it as training too, like, can I flash this boulder, like approaching it as a way of flashing, just as this for, you know, training as this season continues.
Absolutely.
Makes sense.
He's trying to figure out this match now. He's going to...
Oh, it almost looked like he was going to go for a foot swap.
I know. He still might. Look, I mean, he
Oh,
kind of
wow.
is, yeah.
More like a foot scoot.
Yeah, there's nothing to go, and it's so blind. He's going to go horizontal as well.
And that's kind of what I was saying the whole time. It just seems like, why not, if you can, avoid that foot cross through.
Well, you might need Serato's sticky fingers to hold that. He gets stood up, pressing against the wood.
Wow.
This is
So
still his flash go.
comfortable. He just looks so comfortable. Wow.
Well, Serato, 4 out of 4, 3 flashes out of 4.
You will see him in the final later.
Yes, and don't bet against that man for the gold tonight, I tell you. He's had a real statement in the semi-final. No one coming anywhere close to him.
Great celebration.
Well, a new
Nimrod
leader
Marcus
emerges.
jumping into men's number 3. I've only seen it topped once. See what he can do here. Oof, just kind of slipping off of that hold. Lots of requests for brushes on these boulders.
Yeah, heat of the day is building. Hannes, has he got a zone yet? Not yet. Yes, he has got a zone, sorry. So he's got the zone.
Yes, he was up there. He looked pretty good. But I feel like the same kind of crux everyone's been dealing with is the fact that you get there, you feel good, you start moving, but then you kind of don't find the right position.
Up he goes to the pinches. Goes right. Slaps and holds it. Adjusts the hands.
Ooh, undershot that one there a little bit. Maybe a longer rest.
Yeah, he's looking a bit tired, isn't he?
Just throwing on liquid chalk.
Spraying it everywhere. Nimrod goes and has a look. Hasn't been that successful through this bottom part.
These 2 boulders are very rough. Very rough indeed.
Super full on. Well, keep an eye on that leaderboard. Gianluca Bosch is still in contention for the finals. He's in 6th position. Mikael Mauer, Zach Gallert, Daiki Sano, who came out first and is likely to stay up there. Sean Bailey, which will be a crowd favourite, and then Serato and Ruka, who's just a bit different here this afternoon.
On a roll for sure.
Yeah. Marcus kicks right with a toe, wraps it around.
Oh, so spanned right now. Oof.
Just not getting the body positions yet.
Another brush. It's just so dependent on friction.
All right, a minute to go, the buzzer sounds. Coming up to 12 p.m. here in Salt Lake City. Remember, come back at 6 p.m. our time for the men's final, and then directly after that, only about a 10-minute break, is the men's speed final.
See if Hannes has enough energy to get back up to where he got before. Has to still pop enough here. Nicely done. Yeah, I feel like he was too tired last time.
Yeah, I think you're right. But this is where the fatigue does kick in. This drop down into the sloper. Has he left enough room? He's looking up then. I think he was thinking about just doing a jump.
Oh,
That's
no.
going to happen. And this is finished. Nimrod is still on the wall. There he is. Gets the toes in once more. He's been flinging it himself at this boulder. And he
Oh,
runs
man.
that seam.
You know, I feel like Daiki earlier threw with the hand there, and I feel like that's actually better than the toe. Because then you can just throw a heel after, or set a toe.
Interesting stuff. Well, we pan towards the city once more. The last few athletes coming through. Tomoe Narasaki runs onto the mats. Now drones flying into nothingness. Get it back. There is Tomoe. Right, last time we'll see this boulder then on M2. Toby Roberts on M3. And then Jeong Won Chon trying to finish off his competition on a high on the slab on the left.
Tomoe taking time to brush all of the holds as he is the last competitor and the 22nd competitor to come out and climb. So good idea, especially because these holds are a little slippery and it's kind of hot. And this is their second round of climbing. So who knows? I mean, each person's skin's a little different. Toby looking really good, setting up to come into the zone here. So I think coming out of a heel here is actually a bit better. Oh, he's going to flip to the toe. Oh, yes, to keep the all 4 points there. Ooh, this is good.
Now he drops that toe, so that's
Oh,
good.
dang. That was really cool.
That was good. Yeah, he would have been a bit stuck if he hadn't released that right toe. He saw it. And Tomoe, look at this. He's into the dish straight away.
Didn't see the drop down there.
No, he didn't leave himself quite enough room. He had to almost side pull that dish, which makes it even worse.
Yeah.
Oh, Jeong Won's dropping down.
Nice. This just seems like the better way. It's just a little more efficient, but you do, I mean, you're grabbing mostly slippery texture on that little screw on, so it is hard.
Yeah, he crosses, finds the press. He's still got to get stood up, though. He'll want to finish on a high here. He's sitting down in 21st currently.
Yeah, I don't, the top, I don't know how much it's going to do for him because he doesn't have all the zones. But ending your round with the top is always nice.
Exactly, yeah. Confidence coming into the next round. He'll be in Prague. Oh, gets the heel or his fingers up. He's going to want to change that into a toe. He does.
Confidently needs to stand up. Almost looks like he's trying to go. There we go. Here's a little bit of momentum. I was going to say, looked like he was trying to static pistol squat, which is really hard. Nicely done. Good way to end the round for Jeong Won.
Yeah, that bumps him up to 11th, but missing that zone on Boulder 1 was vital for
really
him.
Hurt him.
He is not going to get through. Right, Toby Roberts is out there on the mats with Tomoe Narasaki. It must be quite a moment, that, for young Toby Roberts.
Yeah.
Kicks towards the right, gets the toe. Will he use the same method? Last time he got a toe, got a second toe. So that's one locked. Oh, goes up with just with the heel, then, different method from him.
I was wondering if matching here was going to be a good idea. It does seem kind of hard to get out of, though. Oh, wow, almost did it.
Yeah, that was pretty close.
That was cool. I'm into it.
One of his coaches there down on the front, watching intently. Tomoe, no more progress from him on this. He's down in 17th with the top in the zone. Tomoe just waiting for that liquid chalk to dry.
Yeah, too many tries on this one really just isn't necessary. And I think he knows that, as he has been around for a very long time and been successful for a very long time. So I would assume no matter what happens, this will be his last attempt.
Yeah, minute 17. Right, he's not making room again, but he goes for the high toe, which we know doesn't really work. Might reset on this. No. He's thinking
I'm
about
surprised.
leaving. Must be odd to walk away with a minute to go, you know, that feels wrong somehow.
Also, I guess it depends on how he feels. If he doesn't feel that zapped, then it makes more sense. Yeah. I was going to say, I would be really surprised if he won again, just because I feel like he doesn't normally do that. Like, I feel like he is one who makes decisions like that to walk away and and is really good at knowing which ones are the right decisions to walk away.
So Toby swings over, gets the high toe, drops in again. He's got this sequence nailed. Goes to the right, but which method will he do? The match with the double heels? Looks like he is setting up for that. Oh no, maybe not.
I think this way is more efficient. And oh, see, now this is good because now he has his left foot out. That'll help him get up onto it.
Oh.
Wow. Oh, this would be so exciting for Toby if he can make this happen. Nice.
Oh, he's trying to move that left hand over to try to match it. He does.
Yes. 5 seconds left on the clock.
Oh,
Are we going to see a buzzer beat? No! That was really exciting.
Just ran out of time.
Wow. Incredible climbing from Toby.
Good work from Toby Roberts. He's down in 10th, though. Needs a top on the next one to get through.
Plenty capable of topping that
Absolutely,
fourth boulder, though.
He'd love to make another final.
That would be cool.
As we go past the water tower, which I hadn't noticed before on the building. I'm seeing we're there, right. I've lost my perspective of where we were.
Oh, yeah, me too. It's like, where's Waldo?
I told you, the drone's just having a great time. Just chilling. In fact, I could see the drone in the air. There it goes. Well, Hannes van Dyssen is on M3. We say goodbye to M2. Last couple of boulders, last couple of climbers here in the semi-final. As we near the end. And our top 6 are starting to take shape. Jan-Luca Posch has been down in 6th position for a while. He will be nervously watching.
I was going to say, yeah, stressful semis. And he came out quite early, so he's probably been nervous the entire time.
Absolutely. Well, Hannes is going to try to do something about this. Out he goes with a grimace. And Nimrod Marcus is also on the slab down at the end. Got Hannes stretched out.
Looks really good here. But this toe hook makes it really hard to get over unless you can get the other toe on. Oh, wow. He looked better than most cutting loose there.
Yeah, I think he might adjust that beater a bit.
I like Toby's method of bringing that other foot and making sure you still have all 4 points on because that cut is just so hard.
There's now 3 brushes down on Marcus's slab, bringing more members into the team. Yeah, the heat has definitely risen in the last half an hour or so. Pretty sweaty out there. There's a lot of climbers walking around tops off, just trying to get some.
Hopefully with some sunscreen. I saw a lot of red shoulders yesterday in the crowd.
Yes, there were many burnt people.
Yeah.
Still are a few as I look around. I have unbelievably managed to not get burnt yet. So
well, we're in the shade.
True, but still, I'm very white, very pale. Right, Hannes is breathing heavy as he looks up.
That's the other thing with the heat. It definitely makes it heat plus altitude for a lot of the athletes.
Yeah, true. I've forgotten about the altitude, yeah.
Luckily, we're not as high as Vail. I feel like Vail was always rough. Sometimes I felt like I was going to vomit during a round there.
That's over 2,000 meters, right? Up in Vail, something like that.
I have no idea in meters, but yeah, it's high up there.
Right, Marcus, he's on the left foot. And we know really the best way is to drop down onto the zone, but it must feel a bit wrong because there's not much there.
It's definitely hard. Oh, he's going. Yeah, he's going to go for it. Oh, and he jumped into it a little more, kind of like I was saying earlier.
Yeah, it seems to be the way, doesn't it?
It'd be nice for him to end on a top here.
Yeah, he's had an up and down round. Started off well and struggled a bit towards the middle.
I mean, fair enough, though. The middle was really rough.
Yeah. Hannes is, sorry.
Who has, I mean, there's only like one person who hasn't struggled in the middle, and that's Serato.
Yes. And we all know about him. Right, Mark.
Oh, nice save there. Great way to end the round for Nimrod Marcus.
Super strong thumbs to hold that.
Yeah.
That thundercling thing.
Oh, look, you're using the word. Oh, that bumps him up to 4th place right now. Wow. Puts Mika on the bubble, and Jan-Luca, unfortunately, missing out on that final.
Yeah, Nimrod, look, I don't think he knows where he... Well, he obviously doesn't know where he's at the
He has
moment.
no idea, I'm sure.
Because that was...
It's going to be pleasantly surprising.
Yeah, massive moment for him with that
Yeah.
thumb. All right, Hannes is alone out there, struggling a little bit to unlock the sequence on this thuggy boulder. Hannes takes a moment, shaking out, letting the liquid chalk dry.
All of the time to rest and shake and remember exactly what you need to do. Expend as little energy as possible.
Well, he's actually setting himself up quite well here, is Hannes. Not that she knows it, but if he can send that last boulder, having got the zone here, he might have done enough. If you look at the top 6, well, he would have done enough. Mika only one top.
Yeah, Mika, the last of the people to top just one boulder, hanging on in 6th right now. Also, Tomoa hasn't moved up into that top 6 yet, so...
Oh, Hannes slides
scary
down.
point to be at for Mika.
It is, yeah.
In the bubble.
Yeah, and
Hannes not going to make it happen.
no, so that could be it for Hannes. He will not progress. Okay. Well, top 6 changing a little bit, but been fairly solid for a while. Hannes has a long look at his fingers. Breathing heavy as he leaves.
It's definitely really hot. I mean, talking to some of the women yesterday, they were definitely talking about that a lot. It was just very hot. Some climbers excel in the heat, and some don't as much, and it just depends. It's a game of variables.
It is indeed. I've just watched Gianni Kruder walk past with bright pink hair, bright pink shorts.
It's a vibe.
He's rocking it out there. Sunglasses on, fair play. I think it's his 89th World Cup he competed in this weekend. Sadly, didn't make it through the semis, but always good to have him here. Right, Toby Roberts is on his final boulder, and he could make a play as well if he gets this done.
Choosing less of a, well, deciding if he wants to run into it. Here he goes.
It's quite awkward, that run and jump start, isn't it?
Yeah, and sometimes with those run and jumps, or run and stands, I guess, the mats sometimes, if they dip in certain areas, it makes it hard to like get off the ground sometimes. Tomoa quickly getting into men's number 3. I feel like he might like this boulder.
Yeah, he's got a top on his own. Gets the thumb in, and sticks the sloper. Locks a heel and then changes it into a toe. He's going to have to flick that toe out when he makes this jump.
I was going to say, it almost looked like he wanted to bump right hand. We've seen a couple of people stick that way, but then get really stuck.
All right, Toby, let's see what he can do. Will he drop down?
Yes.
Definitely the best way to do it.
And you see the ones who have been dropping down, their right foot has been low, kind of like I was saying earlier with it, because some people had it so high up, and it just made it really awkward to do the drop down. Looks like he might do the cross through though, which also is a method that works.
Yeah, he's struggling to get rid of that right hand. Doesn't really want to leave it. Now does. And it's funny, if he kind of fell. If he just held on a bit harder, it might have actually stuck it.
Yeah, for sure. Could have been a quick save.
Could have been. Right, Tomoa's got his hands on his hips, having a look. That classic climber pose there. And that is Team Japan watching on. They travel all over the world.
Tomoa taking some time to shake out. Liquid chalk drying whilst also resting. 2 birds, 1 stone.
It's interesting the routines the climbers go through. I know Zhongwon, for example, has like a 3-minute routine he does before he goes out, like a whole chalking ritual behind the curtains. Toby, again, didn't see the drop down the first time. Nearly did it by accident, but not quite.
A happy accident, as Bob Ross says.
Yeah. Wants that right toe to be in play. But,
there we go.
Super low. Goes back.
Just a little indecisive. Oh, the knee. A little knee scum there. Oh, this is actually maybe not a bad idea.
Yeah.
He looks kind of like he's on a screw hole, too.
The thing is, it hasn't done much apart from getting him into the same place. So
yeah.
Just trying to figure out
Here
the
we
position.
go. There we go.
He can see the brain ticking over here as he works this move out. Just commit to that drop down.
Just needs it to be very slow. Dropping that left foot definitely slowed him down, which was good.
There we go. Now he has palm. He should get stood up easily.
Yeah, a little more of a secure position. Needs to get the left foot up.
Just open those hips up. Bring the left through.
Ooh,
Close.
mobility. Wow. Hip flexibility.
All right. How's his squat game, though? Yeah, underclings. Ooh, crimps the top of the volume.
Oh, my goodness.
Super slow from Toby here.
Nice.
God, he's an endurance athlete.
Very patient.
But this move is not easy. He's got to spring all the way up into that top, catch it with a thumb, bring the other thumb in.
And it's not even just getting up, but also then being aware of your legs and making sure they don't pull you off the wall, too. It's kind of like twofold here with this finishing move.
Adjusts the toes, looks at the top hold, eyes it a few times. He's going to have to make a move at some point. 45 seconds into it.
Nice job.
Oh, he's in 6th already with that.
Bumps him up into 3rd.
Just wants double confirmation.
That's exciting.
Yeah, that'll be a finals for Toby.
Yeah. Another one. Or no, first one.
Yeah, first one for Boulder. He made
For Boulder,
finals in
yes, for
Edinburgh.
Boulder.
And got a
But he
silver.
was just out of finals in Seoul, 8th place, so he'll be pleased.
Toby is coming for a lot of people, I tell you. And he is a true all-rounder as well.
Yeah.
And Tomoa left at the same time. So 8 seconds to go. Only a couple left now.
So done with Boulder number 3 as well.
Oh, yeah. All right, final 2 athletes then, if I'm correct, which I may not be.
No, I think you...
I've got lost in this semi-final.
I don't know. I'm actually confused too. So we have... I don't know.
We'll find out. We'll find out in 3 seconds. Here we go.
I think Hannes still has to do number 4. And then Tomoa. Yeah, so final two.
All right, we got there.
We can count.
We can do this, Meg. Well, apparently I can't as of yesterday. I literally walked into the TV box and my director goes, "So did you learn to count overnight?" I was like, yes,
1,
I
2.
practiced. 1, 2, 4, 5. Easy. Right. 4:39 on the clock.
Ooh, Zach Galla on the bubble now in 6th place.
Yeah. Seeing more tops as we near the end of this comp. Serato still way out ahead with the 4.
Yeah. Wow. Hannes is likely to do well on this already. Like, look at how confidently he just moved through that back step cross through. I mean,
yeah. I mean, when you look like that, you wonder why everyone else just didn't do that.
Yeah.
You know,
and we saw a few people do it that way, but it definitely didn't look that smooth. Yeah, he climbs slab with authority.
yeah. When he's feeling it, for sure, you know, he's just on it. Oh, he's one move up top. There's a flash go. Impressive stuff from Hannes. Will this be a final?
Ooh, nice job.
Almost dropped the top twice there, but that is huge from him.
Yeah.
Let's wait for the scores. He's 11th at the moment. That bumps him right up into 5th.
Yep. And so really, he should be safe for the final because only Tomoa left to climb. Good. And honestly, way to keep it together during that round. Like, frustration from the start because, you know, that first boulder did, I mean, he did it, but it definitely didn't go according to plan. Frustration on 2 and 3, coming out, doing what he's supposed to do on number 4, putting him into the final. Love to see it.
Awesome effort. Remember, he won silver in his first ever final in Japan,
know.
so now he's got a bit of experience.
And so that's all you need. Have to see it happen, and then you know it can happen again.
Absolutely. Well, the clock will tick down. It means the brushers can really concentrate on cleaning that boulder for Tomoa Narasaki, who is our final athlete out. Been a slow burner of a semi-final, I think. Excitement at the end. And Serato, well, it's all about him, really. He's put down a real marker for everyone else. Mejdi Schalk, the 2-time gold medalist from this year, not competing. We interviewed the French team. That content will come out later, but deciding to just focus on different things, get some endurance training in. And we are seeing athletes do this, pick and choose some World Cups. A lot of the focus is on the World Champs that will come up at the beginning of August in Bern.
Very important competition.
Yeah, it's a biggie. Yeah, so after this, we head off to Prague and then Brixen in Italy. just on the border of Austria, and then over to Innsbruck for a massive comp, paraclimbing, speed, lead, boulder, all the things in Innsbruck. And the Paraclimbing World Cup continues in Vila after that, and then the Lead and Speed World Cup goes the weekend after that, and Chamonix, Briançon, and I can't remember, but the European rounds.
I mean, I was impressed by knowing all of that part of the
I was
calendar.
just imagining the travel I have to do. It was more that I had a mental
You're
map
like,
in my
where
mind.
do I have flights booked?
Yes, exactly. All right, minute 35. We're just waiting. You have to wait for the time limit in the semi-final, just so we don't rush the athletes. Different in the final.
So all Tomoa needs to do is top this boulder. Doesn't matter how long it takes him, he just needs to top it because he has all 4 zones, and Nimrod Marcus sitting in 6th right now has 2 tops, 3 zones. So though he doesn't know it, gives him freedom in terms of tries.
Yeah, so big moments for Tomoa Narasaki. We're a minute away. As we rotate once more around. That speed wall was in action last night. Good women's final. Alexandra Miroslav taking victory. I hope that's not a spoiler. You should have watched it by now anyway.
It's been up for under 24 hours, but you definitely should have watched it.
Exactly. It's funny when people spoiler things because we sometimes get messages a week after the event saying, hey, you just ruined it. And I think at this stage in our technology-driven world, if you don't know a couple of days after the comp, then I don't think that's our fault.
Yeah.
But maybe we should just keep it as a complete secret all the time.
No, I don't.
Who won last night? We'll find out. Wasn't Natalia Grossman, I promise. 20 seconds to go, and then we'll have 15 seconds of transition, and then Tomoa can do his final boulder. And that crowd really filled the field last night.
Yeah, it was really cool to see. I feel like one of the better turnouts for this event. It's cool. The first year we did this event, there wasn't as much space, I feel like, for a crowd. And then last year there was some weather, lots of rain, so it's nice to see it very, very full.
And there's the athletes and coaches area down the front. They've sectioned it off. Only the coaches get the shade, though. The athletes have to sit in the sun.
I do feel like if you make it to the next round, you should be allowed to be in the shade somewhere,
yeah,
right?
that'd be good. Like special seating for finalists. Yeah, I like that. It's like...
I mean, they have another round of boulders. Seems fair.
Yeah. All right, Tomoa has 5 minutes to get into the final. He's currently sitting in 13th. As Megan said, this top will mean he gets in. So, big moment for Tomoa Narasaki. Good to see him back in the final.
Yeah.
He's trying to read this. I think he probably thinks it's important to flash it. He'll know just by how competitions work how important quicksends are.
And also, I mean, Hannes did it really quickly too, so that's probably something he's thought about as well.
Yeah, true. Yeah, he would have been waiting back there for a while, hearing no crowd sounds.
Yeah.
Now, Hannes made this look incredible, this cross-through.
He
Didn't
really
drop down.
did. It'll be interesting to see what method Tomoa chooses. I could honestly see him going with the drop down.
I can too.
He's clearly doing it right now.
So here we go.
It's just more his style, you know?
Right, well, he should get stood up, okay? It's just whether he can hit the final move.
And it's a move he's good at, honestly. Like, that is well within his wheelhouse, so. Easy. I mean, what, like 40 seconds of climbing?
He pushes Nimrod Marcus out of the final. Wait for the scores to be updated. There we go. So that is our top 6 now. So Serato Anruku, Tomoa Narasaki, Sean Bailey, Toby Roberts, Daki Sano, and Hannes van Dyson are our top 6, barring appeals, of course. There's always a bit of a period after our stream finishes where things might change. But the results, as we have them, are up on screen now. Serato, 4 tops out of 4, just 5 attempts needed, a different level for that man. His teammate Tomoa Narasaki, and then USA, Sean Bailey, they'll get a home crowd favourite to cheer for. Toby Roberts and Daiki Sano and Hannes van Dyson.
Really, really exciting semifinals from the men. I think when I got to the venue, immediately people were like, oh, who do you think is going to be in the final? And it's like, I have no idea.
No, the men's is wide open.
You just
at
never
the moment.
know. You never know.
No. As we scroll down our list, those are the athletes who will not make it through. Colin Duffy and Xander Waller climbed well. Couldn't get that top needed, though. And finally, Alex Kazanov had a tricky start to the comp. Couldn't quite recover. And Nicholas Collin also missed one. He's down at the bottom. That was the 22 athletes who climbed. We'll say goodbye now and we'll return 6 p.m. here in Salt Lake City time for the men's boulder finals, followed by the speed finals. Megan, thank you very much.
Thank you so much. I had so much fun, and I can't wait to come back for the final.
Awesome. We'll be there. See you later, everyone. Have a great afternoon.
And those were the only people at the time I could relate to. But the more I started coming to Memphis, I started to meet